Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and good morning to all respected guests. Before we begin, we would like to request all attendees to take your seats, fill in the empty seats in front, and set your phones into airplane or silent mode so as not to interrupt the session. Don't forget to scan your attendance through the QR code which have been provided around the hall and in the link on our YouTube chat box. We kindly request all attendees to remain in the hall until the event ends. Our event will begin shortly, inshallah. Thank you for your cooperation and attention. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alamin wassalatu wassalamu ala ashrafil anbiya wa mursalin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajma'in. A very warm welcome and good morning to Honorable Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Dato' Zulkifli Abdul Razak, Rector of the International Islamic University Malaysia, Madam Zuraidah Hassan, Executive Director of Management Services Division IIUM, Professor Dato' Dr. Ahmad Hafiz Zulkifli, Post-Director of IIUM Kuantan Campus, respected UMC members, Directors of IIUM, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the sharing session, Leading Change and Innovation. I am Afiq Daniel Amir, your Master of Ceremony for today. Dear distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, as we gather here, we embark on a journey of exploration into the transformative power of leadership and innovation within the International Islamic University Malaysia. In an ever-evolving landscape, the ability to navigate change and foster innovation stand as a cornerstone for organizational success and advancement. Amidst the dynamic challenge and opportunity of the 21st century, the importance of visionary leadership and transformative innovation cannot be overstated. Today, we come together to explore the pivotal role that leadership plays in catalyzing change, inspiring vision, and driving progress. Through illuminating insights, inspiring anecdotes, and thought-provoking discussions, our distinguished speaker will delve into core principles and practical strategies that underpin effective leadership and innovation in the context of higher education. As we embark on this enriching journey, let us open our mind, engage our heart, and embrace the transformative potential that lies within each of us to lead the change and drive innovation within IIUM and beyond. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed, there are a few announcements to be made. First, do scan your attendance through the QR code which have been provided around the hall and through the link in our YouTube live chat box. And second, there will be a question and answer session at the end of the speaker's talk. So if you have any question, do save them for the session. For those who are online, do put your question anytime throughout the session and it will be read in the Q&A session. Thus, with great honor, I would like to invite Professor Emeritus Tan Sri Datuk Zulkifli Abdul Razak, Rector of the International Islamic University Malaysia, to continue the session today. Please welcome.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahirabbil alamin wassalatu wassalam syafil anbiya mursalin sayyidina Muhammadin wa ala alihi wa sahbihi ajmain. La haula wala quwwata illa billah. Terima kasih and thank you very much for this invitation and also for your being able to be with us this morning, Professor.
About the SDG, Sustainable Development Goal during that time. Jadi we started the idea, okay, first how actually we want to instill the spirit of sustainable development goal among not only our students but also our staff. So we started with a few projects. Actually, we started with 22 projects, but then until the end, we achieved only 16 projects. And that project actually related to 17 Sustainable Development Goal. And that project, then what I love about Tan Sri, dia kata apa tau? Whatever you are doing, you have to document. Otherwise, benda tu hilang. Dia macam history yang tak ada apa-apa. Sebab tu kita ada museum semua tu kan. Macam whatever we are doing, if you are not going to document, it will be lost. You don't know. Even kalau sekarang ni kita tanya penubuhan IIUM, mungkin ada juga yang tak tahu siapa the first rector during that time. I rasa ramai yang tak tahu pun. Because sometimes kita punya documentation is very poor actually. Kita tak document benda tu. So what we did during that time, okay, even though it's a small initiative project buat sustainable development goal, we make it, we document in a book. Kita ada buku. Kita kata sustainable development goal among the administrators. So we make it a book as a document, and then okay, Tan Sri suka challenge tau. Dia challenge lagi. Okay, apa yang actually administrator can do? Adakah administrator ni second class? Maksudnya kalau apa-apa academic staff tu is more important than administrator in this university. Tetapi tidak. Actually, whatever academic staff can do, we administrators can do. Kita sama sahaja sebenarnya. So, we have second book among the administrator, the case study. Case study ni actually something that we did and we experienced a long time ago. Bila I baca balik kan, oh rupanya banyak aja benda-benda yang lama. Maybe during the 90s, something that yang kita buat yang mungkin orang-orang sekarang kalau baca, oh rupanya orang dulu-dulu dia buat begini. So that one we can share, we can make it mungkin dulu. The way we do the work is not the same as now. Sebab dulu technology is not right now. Dulu komputer pun kita share 4 orang. But now I think everybody has your own laptop. Not like old time. Jadi kita dokumentkan benda tu, kita cerita kat dalam tu macam mana we do something until Universiti pun dah 40 years. Okay. And then actually we have the third book on the case study. The first one to 22 chapters, and then the second book on the case study is 30 chapters. InsyaAllah because IIUM Press is going to publish, and dia kata bulan Mei akan keluar, but I'm not sure lah. Kita kena push them. So what I can say here is that okay, we among the administrators, jangan rasa kita tak boleh buat. Actually, you can do, like academic staff, and maybe you can do more. Actually, Ya. Jangan kata sebab selalu dengar kat mana-mana, oh kita ni siapa, second class. No, I don't think. Ya, don't think about that. Ya, kita sama. Itu yang pertama. Yang keduanya, we have to work together. No silo thing. Ya, maksudnya doesn't matter you are administrators, you have to work with academic staff. Ya, kita ni sama ya, daripada universiti yang sama ya. Okay, we have to work together with academic staff as well as with students actually ya. Sebab kalau tidak ada student, tidak adalah university. Ya, that's about the book ya. Okay, so what our new plan? Ya Tan Sri, nak tunjuk. Yang ni boleh tunjuk. Okay, I think all of us ya, among administrator knows ya that saya ni suka berkebun ya. Actually with Nur Kamsiah lah. Selalu orang panggil kebun sebelah air tu kebun Madam Min. Kalau takut nak ambil, nanti kalau hilang masuk Facebook. Sebab selalu kena curi. But it's okay actually, you can take whatever yang ada kat situ ya. Okay. Okay, so actually right now kebun biasalah ya, because we have one of our project ya during SDG tu adalah edible plant. But you know ya, edible plant ni dia kena penjagaan yang rapi. Sebab bila satu-satu edible plant tu dia dah matang, kita kena tanam semula ya. So memang memerlukan dedicated usaha dan dedicated people to take care. Okay, so dulu kita kena cakap the garden 1.0 kot. Now, okay, this is our plan and I am most welcoming to all of you ya to join. Sebab benda ni baru. Actually, I just received the letter last week ya, Madam Zhu. So I tak ada lagi plan yang betul-betul. Yeah, very new. Okay, actually this is insyaAllah our project, therapeutic garden 2.0. Okay, next. Okay, kenapa ya? Kenapa we have this therapeutic garden? Because right now kita tahu ya, especially during the COVID-19 and post-COVID ya, after COVID, there are many problem among our staff. As well as our student ya, pasal mental health ya, di mana the depression, the stressful life ya. Jadi kita nak mungkin salah satu di kampus ini we will have these therapeutic gardens in order to at least ya, kalau kita tak menolong 100% pun Tan Sri, at least ya, we want to promote ya the healing ya, to reduce the stress and enhance overall well-being. So we will locate the strategic places yang mana yang student suka lepak ya. Kalau salah satunya of course lah dekat RMC tu, because they always sit dekat tepi tu ya, on the way to the library. Itu salah satu what we call it the strategic place lah. And maybe the second place is of course our previous garden dekat tepi IO. Dekat situ pun selalu student suka duduk-duduk kan. We want to upgrade and to make it more maybe therapeutical garden. I'm not sure lah, tengok macam mana. Okay, next. Okay, this garden actually not only we want to do the healing ya, but then of course kita akan ada elemen-elemen of knowledge and virtue. I took from your presentation ya, Nur Kamsiah. Okay, in which kita kata kita nak try self watering. Maybe we want to work together with academic staff ya, and make it as a research project on the watering, self watering. Actually, previously I already engaged with one of the academic staff from engineering, and actually he is expert in this area. So maybe I will collaborate with him. Yeah. And then of course next, we tengok next. This type of plant, before this kita menanam edible plant je yang selalu kena curi. Ya, kena curi dengan pasu-pasu sekali. Huh? Edible plant. So now we want to make it not only edible plant, tetapi ada herbal plant and then flowers. Macam ni lah lebih kurang. Sebab it's more of therapeutic garden. So this is our plan. Okay. Ada lagi ke? Tak ada ya? Okay. So all of you are most welcome to join this project. Siapa-siapa yang nak. Please call us, call me. Okay. So this is insyaAllah, Tan Sri, our project. If it is successful, we will make a book as well. Okay. Hopefully it will success lah. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Amina. Somebody said I call them at 2 o'clock because I know they are ready. Anytime I call, they are ready. So there's no time. Time is not an issue. I think she's very modest about it. She has done a lot more than what she said. And she has proven to us that administrators boleh buat. Saya tidak langsung berminat ada dua kumpulan, administrators dengan academic. I think this is something yang kita dah mula dan kita nak cuba kurangkan. I think we are all the same. We are all the same. So that's why we say now the administrators can also do teaching if the academic can do managing. Mengapa orang akademik boleh mengurus tetapi orang pengurus tak boleh mengajar? So we are saying that if you got a master's minimum qualification to the university, if you are good in finances, you want to teach a course in finance, if the kuliah allows you to do, go ahead, teach. So kita blur this whole idea that one is better than the other. We are all the same actually. Research. Now kita kata the administrators can do research as much as the academic can do. They can produce book as much as the academic can do. What I'm trying to work out now, can we also have the administrators to go for sabbatical? Mungkin bukan 9 bulan, tapi mungkin 1 bulan tengok apa orang lain dah buat. Then only you can get good ideas of this university has done that, can I follow this? So these are the things that we are trying to do now, but to do that is to show that the university you can change. Kalau you can change, then the university will support it, but if you cannot change, then why do the university want to support you? And this is the whole idea of why we are coming together to make this change into a real thing so that we can work together as a team. Itu Puan Aminah dengan kumpulan dia, and I think we also brought in very professional case studies teachers, mengajar how to make a good case study. And I think this is one of the things that insyaAllah the university will be known. Harvard is known for its case studies. Studies case Harvard ini maknanya dia kita boleh gunakan, and that's why documentation is important. So for example now, if I want to demonstrate, now we are trying very hard dengan maknya ni. I've been talking to Samsul to apply for a research grant. Macam mana kita boleh demonstrate to the world that we can deal with the problem of LGBT lain daripada orang lain buat. We don't have to go into the politics of human rights. We look at it as a medical issue, a medical solution. Alhamdulillah, when I went to Moscow baru ni, kita dapati orang Rusia Islam pun membuat cara yang sama. Dia ada satu hospital di Chechnya. Ada satu juga psychologist di sana yang buat kerja almost the same like we do. So we are trying to join forces, at least Malaysia dengan Russia, using another way of solving a problem of maknya. And then when I talk to what they call semalam daripada Pergas daripada Singapura, kita cakap juga tentang ni, dia kata macam mana Singapura boleh belajar tentang ini daripada Malaysia, daripada IIUM. So I asked Badri to work with them and see, can we join forces kalau ada Singapura, Malaysia dengan Moscow, and see how we can solve this problem. And that is what the university is all about. To solve problems and to make sure that the problem is actually dealt with on a real level. Bukan tulis makalah lepas tu ambil point, lepas tu masalahnya lebih merebak. And how do we do this whole thing? So I'm going to go to the next person now, Cik Din, if you can tell us what you have done in terms of putting the the promotion or whatever moving forward. Yeah.
Ada slide ke? Oh, Masya Allah. I did not prepare this slide. Okay. Auzubillahiminasyaitonirrajim. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. First of all, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you, Tan Sri, for giving me the opportunity to speak to all of us today. Alhamdulillah, I did not see the message last night. Otherwise, I could not sleep last night. I just saw it this morning, so I did not prepare. As should be lah. Okay. If I were to to run through this slide, I think it's quite extensive. It will take some time. But I would like to just summarize. I think the role of administrators, all of us here, inshallah, some sort of administrators, is to execute whatever ideas that come from our top leadership, and also to solve the problems that we are facing day to day in our administration life, right? So, as for my experience, when I was in the Deputy Director's Office, Research and Innovation under Pro Hafiz, we introduced a specific framework to adapt to the changes that the university introducing. So we introduced so-called IRI framework, IIUM Responsible Research and Innovation Framework, just to prepare for the coming issues or the coming ideas, the coming direction that will come our way. In this framework, we laid out several criteria that we need to look into once we have the idea. We got this direction from the universities. In terms of research, the first one, in this framework, we talk about, we will look at in the aspect of the conduct of research itself, whether the research is going to be the research is responsible or not. I mean, in terms of the value of the research. So this is one of the aspects that the IRI framework laid out. And the other one, we need to look at the researchers themselves. We call it the research leaders, whether they are ready to take up this new direction in terms of coming out with the responsible research and innovation. And the other one, we need to know whether our support system, or we call it enablers, in terms of our people, in terms of our policies, in terms of our process, in terms of our facilities, in terms of funds, and in terms of our HR, whether we are ready to support the responsible research that the university is looking forward. So this is the framework that we prepared just to get ready with whatever direction and whatever ideas that come in our way. And then in that office as well, we introduced a very specific strategic plan based on this framework. So we asked all the kuliah and institute to align, to come up with their initiatives based on this our strategies in the in the confine of framework that we have introduced. This is we prepared this once I was in the office of Deputy Director of Research and Innovation. And then when I came to MSD in late 2021, we also prepared a specific HR framework. Because I like this framework because we need to make sure that we are not left out. I mean, we do not left anything behind once anything will come our way. So we are ready, what aspect that we need to look into once any direction that will comes. For example, in this new leadership with values or SDGs or whatever that the top leadership has come and asked us to execute. So we have in our what we call HR administration, we come up with a specific framework as well. So in this framework, we're going to the objective is to come up with the leadership with values and also with sejahtera people. I think will be shown later on after this. And then what we call the 5 elements that we have introduced in this framework is, which are, the first one is governance. We need to look at the governance, whether in terms of the structure is ready to support the new direction, the leadership with values. And then, for example, in 2018, when Tan Sri came into the university, I think he asked the university to introduce Sketch, for example. So, right away, MSD helped to introduce this new entity, and then, of course, gave the human resource needed for this one. So in terms of governance, whether the structure is ready to take up this new challenge or new ideas that come in our way. And then also, in terms of policies, whether our policies are ready, what policies need to be changed, what policies need to be amended in order to execute the new strategies or the new direction of the universities. So in terms of policies, of course, at MSD, in these last 5 years, a lot of policies have been changed to accommodate this new. For example, the criteria for promotion for academic staff, we have changed. We include one of the criteria, maybe the involvement in the community engagement, something like that. And then the third one is the process. What are the processes that we need to change at HR processes I'm talking about? So what are the processes that we need to look into, and then we need to amend to accommodate the new direction. So in terms of this new direction, for example, I'll give you 2 examples that we have changed in terms of process. I think we have introduced the ABMS, anti-corruption and anti-bribery framework to strengthen our integrity practice in the university. And also the APAR system, which have yet to be completed, but inshallah will be completed very soon. So this is, in the new APAR, we will include all those new elements in terms of the values, then good values that we're going to have the special elements for that one. We're going to evaluate on that one as well. And then also we're going to capture the contributions, the good contributions that the university staff, whether the academic and also the non-academic. So the new APA, inshallah, will be, we accommodate all those requirements of the universities. And hopefully with the new APA, a lot of, I would see that a lot of changes will happen in the future once our APA is ready. maybe we can change the promotion policies, because we have already the data from the new APAR that we're going to have at the end of the year, inshallah. Then the next year, inshallah, we're going to change some of our policies as well to accommodate, to give more incentives to the staff, because the new APAR, inshallah, will be more objective, more comprehensive, inshallah. So that's in terms of process. In terms of people, of course, I think Sister Noke, I can tell you that since 2015, we have conducted a lot of trainings in value-based trainings. Numerous, I think countless trainings that we have done is towards this, enhancing the characters, the values of the staff. And then the last one, in terms of information. So in terms of information, we are now changing towards the new heuristic system. So now we are developing, inshallah, will be completed in 5 years, inshallah. So hopefully with the new system, I'm confident that the new system will be more comprehensive, will be more friendly, more accommodative in terms of the staff needs. So now we are at the process of gathering requirements. So hopefully with the new modules or in the new heuris, inshallah, the staff will be happier in terms of the system that can be used for their work. I'm sure that with the new system, we're going to need less people in terms of process. We're going to need less papers in terms of processing our work, our daily work. And then the other one that the major things that we are going to face in this year, because we are in the process of introducing the online digital filing. I think the administrators are aware, but mostly who are involved in the IIUM filing, we are now in the process of transforming our filing system. We're going towards the online filing system. Inshallah, we are in the process. This is going to be a big change. I really confident that it's going to be a big change for the university, because we're going to save a lot of papers in our administration, inshallah, once the system is ready to be used. Now we are in the process of getting the approval of our new codes for the university. So I'll run through. This is the HR framework that we introduced in late 2021. I have mentioned to you that we have the 5 elements that we look through if we have the new direction in the future, right? And then our specific motto that we introduced as well, we give value with values. This is one of the things that we introduced, so that we just don't want to give the service, but we want to give the service with values, because the staff, the customers or the clients may get the same service, but they might not be happy with the way that we deliver it, right? So that's why we give value to the staff, to our clients, but with values, with good values, right? So this is next, run through. Okay, this is the strategies or HR strategies that we introduced in the MSD. So all units have to come up with their own initiative based on these strategies. Next. Okay. You can see that the focus areas are based on the 5 elements of the framework just now. Next. Okay, this is some of the things that we introduced as well through the staff development. Okay, this is the system that we introduced. Some of you have not seen this because I just completed last week. Okay, but this one, as our objective is to produce. Apa lah, tak nampak. So we have one objective, and then Makassar, and then also SDGs as the element on the top, and then yes, providing comprehensive platform for learning and development programs to produce sejahtera and competent leaders with high values. So this is the aspiration of the universities to produce leaders, sejahtera and competent leaders with high values. This is our ultimate objective. Of course, the ultimate one is, another one is Rahmatin Alamin, but as we just put it as our objective is in this one, sejahtera and competent leaders with high values. And then in order to do that, we need to introduce, to have what are the characteristics or attributes that we need to have to make sure that our staff are, sejahtera and competent. So we have put some elements of aspired attributes that we need to train, to develop, right? In terms of good adab, to future ready, resilient, agile, the spirit of giving, institutional commitment, in terms of admin expert, innovative, and so on. So we have a lot of these aspired attributes that we need to have these attributes in order for us to produce the sejahtera and competent leaders. Okay, then we have the methods of how we develop these attributes. So we have formal learning in terms of in-house, external courses, and then we have also informal and social learning. We have networking, we have social media. Okay, we have people interaction, we have supervisors, employees, we have self-reflection, and then also we have experiential learning. We have project involvement, we have coaching, mentoring, workshops, community engagement, meeting, job rotation. So all of this will help us to achieve those attributes, inshallah. And then what are the enablers, okay, to carry out this? Our internal providers, external providers, industry experts, human network, and also outside community and also IIUM community. And then what are the framework that we are working? We have introduced the competency development framework, and also we have career development framework. I think I can introduce later on. And then what are the impact? We have to measure somehow, right? So we need to have appropriate tools in assessing the job outputs and also job performance and also personal quality. Because we have laid out what are the attributes that we wanted, so we need to have some sort of assessment. What are the specific tools that we need to assess in order for us to judge whether our attributes attained or not, right? So these are what you call. So kat tepi tu ada, tepi tu dia ada, sebelah kiri tu ada learning to know until learning to become. Okay, kat sebelah kanan ada, sebelah kanan. And then kemana dia ada leading self. Okay, leading self, leading team, leading the unit, leading the organization, leading the world. So we have various phases of our career in the IIUM. So leading self, meaning that when you are appointed within 1 or 2 years, we lead ourselves. So until we lead the world. Okay. So the professors, we are supposed to lead the world because you are already at the stage where you can lead the world in your profession lah, right? All right. Okay. Next. Okay, this one I think you can forget about it. Next. This one I think you can read later on. These are competencies. This one also we have prepared the career development framework for admin staff, and also the career development framework for academic staff as well. I think this one fresh from the oven. I think some of you have not seen. So this is what I did in the office lah. So I think for the career development for academic staff, you can see what sort of competencies that you need to attain during your leading self, during your early years of your career, and then what are the competencies that you need to develop, and what platforms and what programs you need to attend, need to go through in order to get to those to leading the world later on. Okay. Okay, next. Okay, see, these are the projects that we have done at the MSD. Okay, and apart, of course, inshallah, you will be introduced very soon, inshallah, in March, early March, inshallah. And then next, I think apart, I think will be explained later on. Next, workload audit has been done. The result of it we have already seen it. Okay, next. And then work-off time, bully exchange and committee engagement. I think this one in the pipeline. I think the draft of the policies have been done, completed. Hopefully can be approved soon, and then can be implemented right away, inshallah. Next, this one is ABMS that we have introduced. I think all of you have been informed of this. Next. Okay, this is the timeline of ABMS. Next, MIND program. I think this is one of the no-case projects, our training development programs. Next, this one as well. One of the big projects that we have, under succession planning project. Next, I think we have a lot of more projects. A lot of more. You cannot believe we are at MSD. We are very busy with projects. So endless of ideas come our way just to help you, to serve you, to make the university better, inshallah. So I think that's all. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, itu just the tip of the iceberg. I think there's a lot more what you can learn from. Just if you have any comments, I think you can always talk to Kamarudin. Semalam we attended, or I attended the KSN punya talk, and I think today you might have read in the press, they kata they're going to implement what we call the DEEP system, DEEP. Yeah? Dan EEP tu saya tak berapa nak ingat, tapi the D tu is about demerit and demotion. Maknanya if you are not performing, they will demerit you and they will demote you. Itu dia punya penilaian yang akan bermula pada tahun ini. So what has been presented by Kamarudin, and I'm also very pleased to see dia punya leading the world and self semua tu. Those are the integrated framework yang saya rasa kita ada yang mungkin JPA pun tak ada kot. Yeah? So this is where I think where we are prepared and we can go further when the university or when the government wants to implement a policy, and we can also contribute in a very positive way. Yeah? I also would like to mention bahawa dalam integrity ni, this still quote-unquote a secret, but I'm going to share the secret with you. 22 Februari ini kita akan insyaAllah menerima anugerah perak for integrity. Yeah? This is something that we didn't plan, tapi bila dia datang buat penilaian di sini, I was told by Puan Zuraida that saya pernah dapat surat menjemput untuk mengambil hadiah untuk anugerah perak bagi integrity. Dan saya bertanya, anugerah emas siapa dapat? Badan-badan berkanun. Atau not badan berkanun, the business people. Maknanya perak itu is probably the best for IPT lah. Among the IPT, we are the best. So this is the kind of thing that I would want to show the world. IIUM can dapat anugerah perak, universiti lain tak dapat pun. Bukan kita nak memburukkan dia, but at least we have put ourselves in a position that we are leading the way we want it. Not just talk, but proving it itself. So, insyaAllah minta kita doakan 22 bulan ini, benda ini akan berlaku. Kemudian talk about IRI. Saya dengan Zainal masa di Tokyo, kita pergi berjumpa dengan one of the directors di University of Tokyo. Dan dia juga berkata bahawa they are very interested in RRI, Hafiz. They are going to call a meeting now. They say we will probably include you to understand what this RRI is all about. They kata, we have seen how you doing this and how we can learn from you. So these are the connections that we are making, inshallah, when we talk about the RRI. And the last one that I want to mention is about the Forest of Ilm. Aminah ada forestnya, tapi di Kuantan they've got a proper forest now. Visited the forest, pokok-pokok yang kita tak pernah tengok, ada tengok. One pokok tu, I think none of us have pernah tengok. Nama pokok tu hidung babi. So that will be one of the showcase. Dan kita boleh dapat QR from the taman. And you can get your information electronically. You don't have to be in Kuantan. You can be anywhere in the world, and you can see what the hidung babi looks like as far as the tree is concerned. And we are now planning an outside sort of museum yang kita boleh just walk through and see what is it in the forest before you go into the forest. So these are the new things, inshallah, that we will involve in the context of what Aminah has been saying today. So last person that I want to invite Puan Zuraida to give us overall what she plans as far as making the change and innovation is concerned. Silakan.
Okay, thank you Tan Sri. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Yang berbahagia Profesor Emeritus Tan Sri Datuk Zulkifli Abdul Razak, our rector, and also yang berbahagia Profesor Datuk Dr. Hafiz Zulkifli. Oh, sorry, Prof. Okay, and also audience in the hall, and I heard that 200 in online. Okay, Alhamdulillah. So, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So, first and foremost, I think I must say that there is about, I think, 4 slides, from me, but it may be once I have also I think, talk about it with the professional group and also support group, but I'm sharing it again because some of them cannot make it at the day, and especially I want to emphasize what is it. So if, let's say, some of you have seen it twice, so I think you bear with me, so thank you very much. So as for me, when I was appointed as EDMSD, very recently, everybody knows, 8 January, I was thinking about human resource is a workforce. So if a workforce means, like Tan Sri say, it's not only MSD, it's the whole population of the university, doesn't matter which campus, it's the whole. So if we want to have a good workforce, a quality workforce, and in terms of the work performance, the attributes, and so on, so we need to understand where we are, how do we stand, and what is the direction of the university. So I think the first I want to emphasize is everybody in this university must understand when you look at the IIUM at a glance. I didn't put it here. It is something like a tree, the branches of tree, where you must understand each and every part of it. Where is south, where is the direction, because from there you know the university, what the university is all about, including the SDG and everything. So you must understand IIUM as a whole. That is first thing first. Then, because from there, the journey that you are going through, because you must understand where you fit into the university. Okay, because we don't just work for money. We want to have, for example, like our target is community university is for Rahmatan lil Alamin. So we are not working just for ourselves, not only for our family, it's for the whole nation. So that is where the difference between the impossible and the possible lies in man's determination. Because if you want to do things, you must be determined. If you're not determined, sometimes it's very difficult to achieve. You have the negative things inside you. So this is my first slide. Inshallah, the second slide, please. Okay. If you can remember in the Alika I think the last year, the final one, I think for last year, Tan Sri Rector has mentioned about high tech and high tech, high touch actually, yeah? Maybe I need to put square there, high tech, high touch. It's actually, we need to be an IT savvy as well as our performance must be very up to the standard, yeah? So this is actually coming with values, and also we are going to be a future leaders. So if talking about future leaders, how prepared are you to be the future leaders? This question must be inside you. So again, coming to build a capacity building of the workforce, we need to change. So the change that we want to, from my side, I think we want to build the change in terms of the inner things inside you, your quality, and then you can show it, you portray it, and you actually implement it, to the outside world, yeah? So coming to the next slide, please. Okay, so this is the things that the 4 items that I want to emphasize, where I also discussed this with Tan Sri. Actually, we are lacking in communication. We are also lacking in speed. So there is somebody who also saying that we actually a bit SLOW. So maybe that comment is correct, because sometimes we do notice that we did our work quite not at the speed that it should be, yeah? Okay, attention to details, because whenever you must be meticulous with your work, because sometimes it has impact. The implication is big to us. That is where all these 3 items is important when you do things in your working life. And also the counter service, why I put it there, because the counter service actually represent our image. So anybody who are stationed at the counter service, regardless of any campuses, it brings out the image of IIUM. So once people enter the office, if the counter service mungkin macam tak mesra alam ke, you know, things like that, ataupun you cannot entertain them properly, then it brings a bad image to the university. So these are all the things that are important, that we want the workforce in IIUM can actually perform themselves in the quality that we want. So this is the workforce that we want, yeah. Of course, value-driven workforce lah, yeah. Like Brother Kamaluddin mentioned just now. So coming to this point, so change is something that you need to change yourself before you help others to change, and you become the change agent, and you become somebody who can be benefited by the community that we are going towards. Yeah, community is something like you have to share with our surrounding, our neighborhood, the nation, so that we actually give our best to the nation, not only like a silo in our place. Yeah, so this is what we aim for. Yeah, okay, and maybe the last one, the slide. Okay, that is where we said it comes with action. So what we need in action is actually the Garden 2.0 that we appoint Madam Amina. Thank you, Madam Amina, for willing to take the lead for this. And you are very passionate. When I asked her, and see, she's really happy with that. Yeah? Thank you so much. And of course, whoever passionate in gardening, you can just contact Madam Amina. So we are going to have our 2.0 garden, where therapeutic garden is not only just to build the garden, but we also want to help in our mental health for the staff. You can go there and take sometimes, you know, when you feel you're so tired, so like restless and everything, you can go there and take some, you know, kata apa, hirup angin, something like that, yeah. Because therapeutic garden gives you some soothing environment. So this can help you, other than of course going to clinic, ke pening, ke Panadol, ke everything, of course. But this is something for you to benefit from if we have the therapeutic garden, yeah. And I think SASMEC also they had one. I mean they have done that, whether it's in implementation or in the process, yeah. And also project by administrators, like Brother Kamaluddin mentioned, there are many projects that were coming up. So this is also to push the injection to the change, so that you are no longer sitting at your workplace doing your documentation work, clerical work, or your whatever the work that you have used to be. Then now is the time to change the way you do things. Yeah. Even when we talk about innovation, you can innovate innovation does not mean only produce commercial products. Innovation can be how you automate your system in the office, or how you organize your work. Maybe you create a tracking system or documentation, where the documentation is, so where is it now, so how you track the document to make up the speed. This is also an innovation. So the mind of thinking of innovation should spread. It is not only we are producing something to sell. Innovation can be things that around you, yeah. So, and NASA, what is NASA? National Seminar for Administrators. This is in collaboration the spearhead by the PMA, and of course MSD, ACAP, and other private and public universities. So why we want this? We want to have the community concept comes in, and so that in that NASA we can have a talk on all the things that we want to promote, Tan Sri, the SDG, the community university, the mental health programs, whatever we want to help the nation, we put there in NASA so that everybody can play their role, and we benefited from this program. Yeah? NASA is something like, if you heard about academics, they have many conferences, they benefited from that because of their academic life is through the conferences also, the new things, the research, the findings. So we want administrators also to actually have something like this, yeah, to benefit from a conference, from a seminar, so that we can have something new in our life, not just staying at the status quo, yeah, or business as usual. So Tan Sri, this is a change, because again, talking about workforce, we need to have a very high performance, high touch workforce if we want to achieve what we want. When you look at the direction of the university. And Tan Sri, I really want to say here my appreciation to Tan Sri, because I have written, I think, 4 chapters in book because of inspiration from you. Inshallah, my last one was Morabi in Action. They invited me, but I didn't see the book yet. But I think the inspiration actually came from you. So thank you very much. I've written, I think, in the Kuliah of Medicine, the 25th anniversary. I think that is my 3rd. First is the changing roles, leading to succeed for changing roles. That was my first. So, actually, I was quite, in the first place, I thought I can't do it, Tan Sri, because I did not write anything in the 20 years of my life in IIUM, actually. So when you came, you gave that inspiration to us administrators. Now I came to 4. I end up with 4 chapters in book. Thank you very much to Tan Sri. Okay, and I hope all of you will be inspired to write, yeah? Because like Madam Amina said, you document what you write. It will be something to, when you leave the university, for example, something for you to really appreciate what you've done. Yeah, thank you very much, Tan Sri, for that. Yeah, and of course, not forgetting when I'm in Kuantan, Datuk Hafiz, I'm with Datuk Hafiz, Kuliah Medicine, SASMAC, of course, your inspiration to me also for the speed in work. Datuk Hafiz memang speed in work, memang. No way, SLOW, yeah? Okay. Okay, I think, Tan Sri, thank you very much. And thank you to everyone, the audience online. Thank you for listening. Alhamdulillah. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you.
Thank you, Puan Zuraida. I think menulis ini is something that I think kalau kita bila mati besok di Yaumil Mahsyar, we are supposed to refer to our notes. Everything that we do, somebody writes about it. Yeah? Dia kata bagi buku di tangan kiri, buku di tangan kanan. So maybe Zuraida punya 4 chapters will become out di tangan kanan, insyaAllah. You know, so these are the things that I use symbolically. Yeah? That we need to write what we do, because at the end of the day, that will be the testimony of what you do. Yeah? People come to me and say, Tan Sri, kini dah buat dah 20 tahun yang lalu, tell me the evidence, show me. If you don't have the evidence, then my assumption you have not done anything. Right? It may be a book, it may be a diary, it could be a work page. It's just like when you write in the social media. Yeah? The nonsense that you write in the social media, all the fitnah that you write in social media will stay in the social media. I can pull out the social media and say how many people write Surat Layang at this particular page in time. When we can do something which is so terrible, why can't you do something which is better? Write something good so that can be referred, or you write something good today. And I think that's the notion of what writing is important. The university, insyaAllah, from apa ni Puan Zurada kata dia, has agreed that we start in the university a leadership center. The president dah bersetuju dan sekarang ini kita dalam kerangka untuk to look at all the leadership courses that we are offered for the last 40 years. We are not going to cancel any of them, but we're going to put them into their own perspective. So maknanya sekarang ni kalau kita tengok what kursus you have attended, sometimes I see 100 lebih kursus. Tapi kaitan satu dengan satu lain tidak ada. So what we're going to do now, we make sure that when you come into the university, these are the courses that you need to follow in this sequence, so that we get the understanding of what the university is all about and the concept of the university, moving from the very first principle of what humanizing education is all about. And then we move on into what Kamaruddin said, leading the world. If we don't have that, then I think it's difficult to lead the world immediately when you cannot know what is happening around us. So that insyaAllah kita akan present it to the board ujung bulan ini, that we want to start a leadership center so that this university will lead. If you want to lead, you come to this university, take some of the courses that we think it is important for you to lead in the future. And I think no university di Malaysia ini ada a leadership course per se. The only faculty yang ada leadership is USIM. Tak salah saya. Fakulti Kepimpinan dan Pengurusan. Di universiti lain tidak ada. I'm hoping that this is another one that we can involve into a leadership course, and therefore it gives us a lot more areas to cover as far as leadership is concerned. Yeah? The last point, we are also organizing the gallery. For those of you who have not known, the gallery itu menjadi one-stop center. You go into the gallery, it starts from the history of the gallery and history of the university, and the history of the university now starts from Za'abah pada tahun 1917. Bukan masa kita mula universiti ini tahun 1983. That's the starting of the physical university. But the aspiration university go back to Za'abah pada tahun 1917, dan saya nak mengutarakan ini supaya idea universiti ini adalah idea orang Melayu dan orang Islam. Yeah? It's not from the Mecca Conference of 1977, which has always been said, but the Mecca Conference of 1977 started with Za'abah in 1917, which is 60 years before. And how Professor Engku Omar did a paper, I think in the 1950s, and then later on translated into the Mecca Conference, which is, the conference that acknowledges about IIUM. So that is the gallery we are sitting kita punya, and what is the future. So the gallery bagi saya is a one-stop center. You tengok and you want to see something better, then you go to the kuliah. You go to which kuliah you want to go to by looking at what we have provided for as far as the gallery is concerned. Dan insyaAllah this gallery akan selesai sebelum sebelum Hari Raya insyaAllah. Yeah? We are working very hard on that. Now it looks as though it's my turn. What I'm going to do is to connect apa yang telah dibicarakan oleh, in fact I want to bring Susmek also, tapi oleh kerana dia jauh. They are already writing a book of 40 chapters. Ya, berkenaan dengan apa Susmek dah buat untuk memaknakan bila kita katakan Syariah Compliant Hospital. What do we understand by Syariah Compliant Hospital? Setakat semayang, setakat ambil wudu, setakat tu semua alhamdulillah. The fardu ain kita dah covered. What about the fardu kifayah? Ya, saya bila duduk di hospital itu 2 kali, sekali kerana COVID tidak diundang. Kali-kali kerana buat operation itu diundang. Saya merasakan bahawa the Syariah compliance is beyond just the fardu ain. Macam mana dia bagi makan, macam mana dia menjaga kita pukul 4 pagi, macam mana dia menentukan bahawa hidup kita selesa, macam mana kita dijaga sebagai seorang pesakit. Ya? Dan ini memberi satu lagi makna, and therefore I sat with them and say, look, what are the values that you have been providing for the university in the last 40 years that you can tell people outside the world? Yeah? Dan saya kata, can you select 10 experience that you have got? But they selected 40. So sekarang ini dia ada 40, tak salah saya, Zurada, ya, buku yang menceritakan kepada orang luar bila datang ke SASMEC sebagai satu universiti yang ada syariah compliant hospital, apa yang kita boleh dapat selain daripada fardu ainnya. And then they got these 40 chapters, and insyaAllah they'll be, Aminah will be leading the writing of the book, lagi sekali, the case studies, and you're going to get 40 case studies on SASMEC. Alangkah bagusnya kalau every kuliah ada case study-nya sendiri. Alangkah bagusnya kalau setiap persatuan ada case study-nya sendiri. Dan dikeluarkan satu buku dan dihidangkan kepada orang ramai. And that book will stay. Kita akan mati tapi buku itu akan kekal. Think about it. It's not that difficult. Kalau Zuraida can write 4 chapters after so many years, I'm sure all of us can do that as well. But you need to do something about it by thinking of how to do it. And this is how I'm going to go, insyaAllah, in the next, tak ada jam Can you warn me over there? Okay, I'll try and stop within 1 hour so that we can, insyaAllah, have some discussion. Are we ready here? Okay. Okay, saya nak bring this title on the... Okay, salam kat dia. Okay, thanks. Okay. I think I'll choose one. Okay, kita selalu bercakap tentang leadership. Yeah, but what is leadership? Leadership starting from a word which is probably 3,000 years ago, and they trace the word to this word, a list. Yeah? And makna list ini is to go forth and die. Mara ke hadapan dan mati. That is a name for leadership then. Sebab tu bila kita cakap tentang leadership dalam konteks moden sekarang ini, itu yang berlaku. Satu perlumbaan, satu persaingan, satu perjuangan yang kesudahannya kita mesti mematikan musuh kita supaya kita menjadi orang yang jagoh dalam hal ini. Yeah? And that's why leadership sometimes becomes a very notorious way of looking at it. Look at political parties misalnya. Yeah? The two leaders will fight with one another until one party goes down, parti dia akan naik. Right? And then cakap tentang persatuan, cakap tentang perpaduan, cakap tentang bersatu, tetapi kesudahannya mereka akan berkelahi. It's not just about Malaysia, it's everywhere around the world. Because that is the notion of leadership as it is now. And nobody is challenging this. So we have, kalau kita tengok dulu sejarahnya memang peperangan, membunuh satu sama lain, empire ini akan naik, empire itu akan turun. Yeah? Now translated into the modern world, walaupun tidak ada empire seperti mana yang dulu, tetapi persaingan ini terus berlaku. You can see now between America and China, between Russia and Ukraine, between Israel and Gaza. Semua ni apa tujuannya? Israel akan menentukan bahawa Hamas akan lupus. Selagi Hamas tidak ada, Israel kata we are not winning the war. And Hamas says the same thing. This is leadership as it stands today. And kalau IIUM nak jadi leadership macam ini, inilah kerja kita. Siapa yang kita akan bunuh, siapa yang akan kita runtuhkan, siapa yang akan kita matikan supaya kita menjadi jago. Kita akan leader lah kuno. Yeah? And this is a concept bagi saya tidak ada kena-mengena dengan Islam. Sepaham saya lah. Yang mengatakan rahmatan lil alamin. Apa nak dikatakan rahmatan lil alamin kalau kita nak memusuhi orang, nak membunuh orang dan menentukan bahawa kita saja yang hidup, orang lain tak ada hak hidup. Walaupun mereka juga makhluk Allah Subhanahu Wa Taala. Dari segi vaksinnya begitu juga. Kita kata ini masalah kemanusiaan. Semua orang akan mengalami COVID ni. COVID ini tidak akan memilih orang Melayu, orang Cina, orang India, orang Islam dan bukan Islam. Dia tidak memilih. Semua akan kena. That we believe and we say this is a humanitarian problem. We talk about kita jaga kita lah, how the world will work together and save the world as it were. But the moment the vaccine comes, A documentation is already very clear in the British Journal of Medicine yang mengatakan it is a crime against humanity apabila negara kaya mendapat vaksin yang lebih banyak daripada negara yang miskin. 85% di antara mereka sudah disuntik dengan vaksin, kurang daripada 10% di negara yang miskin disuntik oleh vaksin. Itu satu hal. Satu hal lagi, negara kaya ni sudah membeli vaksin lebih banyak daripada apa yang mereka perlukan. Kadang-kadang 2 ganda, 3 kali ganda lebih banyak daripada apa yang mereka perlukan. Ya? Oleh itu mereka dapat menyuntik rakyat mereka. Dan apabila semua sudah disuntik dan ada berbaki, mereka tidak akan beri kepada negara miskin. Mereka akan musnahkan. Kerana apa? Kerana mereka nak menjaguhi dunia berbanding dengan negara yang lain. This is well documented. Yeah, I'm going to talk about this in the next British Council Forum for International Education to show how biased this whole idea of competition, be it education, be it whatever it is not the kind of leadership that we want to advocate. Yeah? And therefore, the definition of leadership must change, right? And this is where we're going to start. And we talk about leaders nowadays, itu dia. Yeah? Yang baju merah tu mungkin rektor lah, duduk di depan. Yang baju kelabu tu semua belakang. Yeah? Dan dia kerjanya mengikut je. Kalau rektor kata lompat, dia lompat. Rektor pun akan mengikut orang lain pula. Menteri kata lompat, rektor akan lompat. Kalau rektor tak lompat, masalah dia. Ya. Menteri akan terlompat kalau Perdana Menteri kata lompat. Dia akan lompat juga. Pasal dia pakai baju merah. Orang baju kelabu ni kerja ni mengikut je. Tak boleh disoal. Dan kita ada pula konsep baru ni, bosku konon. Ya. Macam leader juga, tapi lebih teruk daripada leader. So these are the concept yang kita gunakan sekarang ini dan kita tidak persoalkan. Tetapi bila kita balik pada istilah kita, kita mengatakan perkataan pimpin. It doesn't work. Oh sorry. How do I go back? Kita kata perkataan Melayunya perkataan pimpin. God. No. I missed it. I think you see it just now. Pimpin ni maknanya pegang tangan. Ya. Kalau saya kata pimpin, maknanya saya dengan Hafiz pegang tangan dan kita berjalan bersama macam gambar belakang. Ya. Dan ada juga hadis-hadis, saya tak pandai tentang hadis ni, salah satunya macam each of you is a shepherd and each of you is responsible for his own flock. Kita gembala dan kita bertanggungjawab atas penggembalaan kita. Tak kata dia tak kata mesti ada pangkat, tidak. Mesti ada nama, tidak. Mesti ada darjat, tidak. Kita ada amanah. Ya? Dan kalau saya seorang suami, penggembalaan is my keluarga. Ya? Kalau saya tak kahwin, saya sendiri menjadi pemimpin kepada diri saya sendiri. That's where soal self leadership tadi comes in. So everybody in this place and online and everywhere is a leader. Tak payah nak kata kalau tak ada nama rektor dan tak ada Tan Sri dia tidak leader. That's nonsense. Yeah, I would say this is nonsensical. Ini orang barat pun cerita. For us, everybody here is a leader, and as a leader, you are as responsible as anybody else. You have the right to determine where to go and how to go because you are also a leader. And that privilege is now gone. It's given to one person. Dia mengatakan, kita pergi sana, kita pergi sini, kita buat ini, kita buat itu, dan kita hanya, okey Tuan, saya ikut. That is not leadership in my context. Ya? Dan ini yang perlu kita ketengahkan. Ya? Kerana kalau kita lihat dalam kefahamannya, konsep leader ini dia bertukar daripada satu masa ke semasa. I just give you an example. Mula-mula we start with a laissez-faire kind of a concept. Laissez-faire ni maknanya semua orang boleh buat apa saja yang dia nak. Ya? Kalau semua orang boleh buat apa saja dia nak, dia tak jadi juga. Ya? And then they evolve into another concept. Dia panggil transactional leadership. Dan transactional leadership ini maknanya apa? Transaction lah. Berniaga. Macam okay, now saya dengan Hafiz. Okay, Hafiz, please do this for me. And Hafiz akan tanya saya, what do I get in return? Kita macam berniaga. Yeah? Okay, for you this, I'll give you this. Okay, Hafiz kata, okay, I will do it. Tapi kalau Hafiz tak setuju, dia kata, saya tak setuju, I want more. For this, I want more. If you don't give me more, then I will not do it. So you transact. Itu namanya transactional leadership. Yeah? For everything that a person wants to give, then I will give of equivalent value. Aminah minta buat ni, Aminah kata, saya dapat apa Tan Sri? Akan naik pangkat Aminah. Pangkat apa Tan Sri? 54. Saya tak mau 54, saya nak VK7. Oh, tak boleh. Tak boleh, Tan Sri buatlah. Saya tak mau buat. Transactional. Yeah? That is what is going on today. Sebab tu kadang-kadang saya kata, Mat, tolong buat ni. Ini bukan KPI saya, Tan Sri. Habis cerita. That is what is happening now. Whether we like it or not, bila kita kata apa ni dia. Ya? Apa yang kita nak kesudahannya. Kita semua transact ini atas budi bicara dan kehendak kita sendiri. So kita katakan this kind of leadership tak kena. And therefore bila dia buat penilaian, dia kata that leadership is not effective, it is passive. And therefore they evolve another one. And I want to make you understand that this understanding of leadership is evolving all the time. And therefore, satu orang bernama McGregor Burns, dia mengatakan that transactional leadership is no good. And therefore, they make another one, dia panggil transformational leadership. Kita bercakaplah tentang transformational leadership ni, tapi kerjanya macam transactional leadership. The transformational leadership, nothing to do with transaction. I work with you on your motivation and your morality. Itu dia kata. Yeah. It occurs when one person engages with another in such a way that the leaders and the followers raise one another to a level of motivation and morality. Hafiz wants to compete with me on the level of motivation and morality. And I have to sustain it. Maknanya dia akan buat kerja 24 jam tanpa tidur untuk menyempurnakan kerja dia, untuk menunjukkan kepada orang lain dia ada high level of motivation and morality. Tak payah bayar duit, tak apa. Your self-satisfaction becomes important. Yeah? Kita tak payah mengemis. Saya nak buat ni kena bagi RM20. No. I want to do it because I want to do it. Because part of my fitrah to do it. And that is what McGregor Burns is saying. Oleh itu, kita dapati bahawa dia punya level of leadership ini ataupun maksudnya lebih efektif dan lebih aktif dalam konteks kita menggerakkan seperti mana yang telah ditunjukkan oleh Aminah, Kamarudin dan Zuraida tadi. We moved it on our own. We don't care who says what. You don't have to tell me to jump. I want to jump. You don't have to tell me how high to jump. I want to jump as high as I could. You don't exist in my world because I can manage my own world. And that's the leadership that McGregor Burns mengatakan, tapi di Malaysia ini tidak berlaku. Bila kita cakap transformation, kita masih bercakap tentang berapa ganjarannya. Tak ada ganjarannya, tidak ada transformasi. Ya? Dalam universiti Islam pun kadang-kadang ini berlaku. Tak ada ganjaran, tidak berlaku. Ya? Fitrahnya letak kat mana, kita pun kadang-kadang mempersoalkan. Ya? Kenapa? Kerana kita sudah lihat di Malaysia sendiri, bila katakan transactional leadership itu, dia masuk ke dalam lingkungan rasuah. Saya bagi awak 20.6 bilion, awak boleh buat ini apa saja awak suka. Yeah? So your transactional leadership becomes a place for mungkar. Yeah? Kadang-kadang kita tak perasan. Kadang-kadang kita diberikan, orang macam saya kadang-kadang tak perasan. Ya? Diberi jolokan-jolokan yang tertentu. Kerana apa? Kerana kesudahannya, dia akan balik mengatakan, I've given you so much, now you need to return it to me. I'll give you one example. Masa saya jadi Naib Chancellor, seorang menteri mengatakan kepada saya, lantik seorang ini menjadi ketua kepada division itu. Apa yang perlu saya buat? Saya kata, okey YB. Saya kata kat dia, tak okey YB. Saya tak boleh lakukan itu. Mengapa? Dia kata kita ada proses, kita ada prosedur, kita ada dasar. Dan ini perlu diikuti. Dan dia kata, ini menteri. Faham, ini menteri. Tapi proses dasar dan prosedurnya mesti diikuti. Menteri tak menteri. So kalau kita mula pada ketika itu, mengatakan tidak pada apa yang tidak, dan kita akan selamat. Kalau tidak, besok dia akan datang balik. Okey, dulu kita dah lantik Hafiz, sekarang ni saya nak lantik Aminah pula. Tolong. Kali kedua kita tak boleh kata no. Because the first time you already said yes. That's the kind of transaction that you will go through if you don't have that amanah. That's what a leader should have. And that is what McGregor is saying. Where is your level of motivation and where is your level of morality dalam keadaan itu? Yeah. So ini dia berlaku lah. So I will just not. So now everybody now bila transactional leadership ni dia menjadi tidak penting dalam konteks kalau dia takat untuk menentukan orang itu akan lebih baik daripada orang lain. Yeah. Bukan untuk keuntungan ramai dalam konteks ini. So there are many more which I will not go through, but what is important dalam keadaan transformational leadership ini is soal-soal integriti. Sebab tu saya amat bersyukur kalau kita betul-betul dapat anugerah perak ini. Dalam banyak-banyak IPT agaknya kalau kita dapat bersyukur menunjukkan kita sudah ada penilaian integriti yang diberi oleh orang kepada kita. Dan integriti itu juga melambangkan apa dipanggil authenticity, maknanya kebolehpercayaan kita atas diri kita sendiri. That you become authentic, you're real, you're true to your fitrah. And that is what's important in making that transformation. Without that, the transformation can be another transaction. Yeah? So the rest I will not go through. Kadang-kadang we'll talk about charisma. Orang ini dia jadi transformation kerana crash charisma dia, cara dia bercakap, perlakuan dia, muka dia kadang-kadang, ini semua the external part. Yeah? But we are now going beyond the external part. Apa dia buat, apa dia rupanya, adakah dia memberi gambaran yang sama? Maknanya, does he walk the talk? If he doesn't walk the talk, then the charisma becomes unimportant. And this is where I'm hoping at least, from my point of view, that we begin to make the change. And this change is coming by, if you read a book called Greater Than Good, tak salah saya, by Jim Collins. Dia mengatakan ada 5 peringkat kepimpinan. And the 5th level bagi dia is the highest. Dia kata, the 5th dimension, a blend of personal humility, merendah diri dengan professional will. Walaupun dia merendah diri tetapi dia tetap professional. And the professional itu adalah amanah yang dipegangnya. Channeling the ego needs away from themselves. It is not about their ego anymore. The ego is about the institution. Jadi kalau kita di UIA ni, ego kita about di mana letaknya UIA. Itu yang penting bagi kita. Bukan di mananya letaknya kita. Kita kadang-kadang letak tinggi tapi UIA kita letaknya rendah. Yeah? You're channeling away from yourself into the organisation. Yeah? And the issue dalam buku ini dia bercakap tentang ego. Soal ego. And back to what Kamarali is saying about how do you lead yourself. In other words, mengurangkan keegoan itu. Right? And kita balik-balik kepada apa yang dikatakan oleh Imam Al-Ghazali. Dia kata, all of man's happiness is him being the master of his ego. Kita hanya berbahagia kalau kita dapat mengawal ego kita. It's a converse, dia kata. While his suffering is his ego, is his master. Kalau ego kita menjadi tuan kita dan hidup kita akan sengsara. Tidak ada putusnya. Kerana ego ini akan meminta itu dan ini, itu dan ini, itu dan ini. Ya, bagi orang-orang sufi, ego dia 3 saja. Reduce your speech. Ya, kerana dalam speech itu kadang-kadang banyak ego. Reduce your food. Dalam food itu kadang-kadang banyak ego. And reduce your garments, pakaian kita. Itu semua adalah simbol-simbol keegoan yang besar. Kalau ini kita dapat kawal, kita dah mula mengawal diri kita tentang keegoan itu. So, ini yang perlu kita lakukan, maknanya we are going back to yourself. Macam mana kita nak menangan diri kita dalam konteks ini. So, I go back then to this whole concept of a balanced leadership. Balance itu kerana apa? Kerana dalam kajian-kajian yang kita lihat, and I think this is the one that really affects me, mengatakan kebanyakan daripada leaders atau pemimpin are increasingly a perception of incompetence, greed and frivolity. Kalau kita lihat pemimpin di seluruh dunia, mengikut kajian ini, adalah kurang kompetensi, tidak berketerampilan, tamak dan kerjanya tidak privilege ni acah-acah je. Not real. Yeah, not walking the talk as it were. Kalau itu saja berlaku kepada dia tidak apa, tetapi kesannya adalah kepada yang mereka yang di govern ataupun yang ditakbirkan, yang diuruskan, mereka yang membayar cukai dan juga yang mereka sedang dalam pentadbiran. These are the people who will suffer at the end of the day. And therefore this kind of leadership needs to go. We need to replace this kind of leadership with the understanding of what is a real leadership. And therefore, we talk about balik semula what the McGregor is saying, that leadership, dia kata, is one of the most observed but the least understood. So kalau kita kata pemimpin ini tak bagus, pemimpin ini tak bagus, pemimpin ini tak bagus, we are just observing. We are actually not understanding what's happening until you go into the very crux of what this leadership is all about. Yeah? So where do I take you now? And therefore, I want to go into this. Kalau kita beli buku lah, this is about it. Kita dapat the 14 core of leadership traits. Ataupun the 7 influence of traits of influential leadership. 3 powerful traits. Ini kepribadian pemimpin itu yang dikatakan penting. Right? Dan kepribadian pemimpin itu menjadi sukatan yang termasuklah karisma dan sebagainya. Oh, kita baca kepribadiannya daripada luar. Kerana daripada pribadi ini, dia akan ada pula tabiat dia, cara dia mentadbir dan mengurus. Yeah. At one time, kita kata orang macam Trump tu is a good leader. Kerana he very decisive, you are fired, go. Habis cerita. Alright. Tapi apa yang kita tidak pentingkan ketika itu, di tengah-tengah manusia itu dia sendiri kosong. Dalamnya kontang. He's almost empty inside. That's the void. And the void bagi saya mensimbolkan ataupun melambangkan satu keadaan kekakuan ataupun kematian mungkin. Satu lagi perkara yang penting iaitu kalbunya. Tidak ada peranan dalam konteks ini. And that's what I mean by the void. Where is your heart in all this? Keprimanusiaannya, hati perutnya di mana dalam konteks ini? Ini menjadi pembicaraan yang terkemudian. Ya. Jadi bila kita take this out dan kita gantikan dengan satu lagi pandangan, iaitu yang penting sebelum kepribadian dan akhlaknya adalah hati dan jantungnya sendiri, yang kita panggil sebagai qalb. Ya. Yang berdenyut, yang aktif, yang suci, yang pandai membawa kepada perimbangan yang betul. Berbanding dengan yang kosong tadi. Dalam banyak pembicaraan kepemimpinan, soal ini tidak langsung disentuh. Ya. Daripada itu baru kita menilai kepribadiannya. Daripada itu baru kita lihat sinar daripada akhlak dan juga tingkah lakunya. Datangnya daripada dalam. Dalam itu apa? Dia menceritakan tentang the God consciousness. keberadaan ketuhanan dalam hidup kita adalah satu perkara yang penting, tidak kira di mana kita saja. Itu akan menilai kita dan menjadikan kita apa yang perlu jadi, bukan kekosongan jiwa ataupun kalbu tadi itu. Ya. Dalam penceritaannya, kalau kita baca buku Al-Ghazali, saya bukan mahir dalam itu, tapi saya dapat apa yang dikatakan oleh Imam Al-Ghazali, ada 4 perkara. Hikmah yang timbul, ya, keberanian ataupun courage yang dikatakan itu, right? Ketiganya adalah dari segi kecenderungan untuk melakukan sesuatu yang baik, memang itu fitrah kita, ya? Dan kesudahannya mendapat satu jenis keadilan. Kesudahannya kepimpinan kita mesti dijelmakan dalam bentuk keadilan, bukan kekuasaan. Ini bezanya bagi saya orang akademik dengan orang politik. Orang akademik mahu melahirkan keadilan, sedangkan orang politik nak menzahirkan kekuasaan. Kadang-kadang we don't meet face to face because our endpoints are different. I'm interested in justice, you are interested in power, you have got power, sometimes you are unjust. And I cannot go along with that, because my end point is justice. If you understand this, then you know what sort of leadership you're going to take, who to follow and who not to follow. But if you don't understand this, then you become just another of those person that will follow whatever it is done. Ya. Ini prinsipnya bagi saya, yang kesudahannya kita rasakan bahawa di yang void itu tidak ada penilaian tentang wisdom, courage, temperance and justice tadi. Asalkan boleh jalan-jalan, boleh makan-makan, boleh sental-sental, boleh ambil-ambil, that's okay. I live for today, not for the hereafter. And that's the kind of leadership that we are worried about, that has been propagated around the world now. Ya, kita bacalah buku John Maxwell dan sebagainya. At the end of the day, we say, where is all these things leading you to? And you finally find you are at a loss. And therefore, bagi saya, dia bercakap tentang soal human capital. Kesudahannya semuanya berkisar kepada kebendaan dan keselesaan hidup di dunia. Ya. And they are not talking about what we call the human being, iaitu manusia dengan fitrahnya, yang ada rohnya sendiri. In human capital, the question of soul is not important. In fact, it's not even there. How do you begin to balance this? And this is what, when you have a leadership center besok, mungkin kita boleh letakkan ini sebagai salah satu daripada paksi yang perlu kita bawa ke tengah, yang sekarang ini mungkin tidak menjadi arus perdana dalam konteks ini. Ya. So balik kepada Al-Ghazali, dia mengatakan bahawa kesudahannya kita perlu mendisiplinkan roh itu. Sebelum ia dapat dicernakan sebagai akhlak ataupun kepribadian, merawat jiwa dan merawat kalbu yang kadang-kadang sengsara sakitnya. Dan ini tidak masuk dalam buku kita. Ya, kerana bila kita bercakap tentang apa tu, tentang perubahan, ya, 2 makalah yang saya baca 2 hari, kita tak selesa pun dengan cara hidup ni, tapi kita tidak mahu juga berubah. Kerana apa? Kerana faktor yang pertama, kita takut kepada perubahan. We are scared to say no when you need to say no. Ya. Dan kesudahannya dia boleh menceritakan bahawa ada 10 lagi perkara yang ramai daripada kita tidak mengamalkannya. Kita takut kepada perubahan, jadi kita melewatkan benda. Kadang-kadang dia slow tu because of that. Because we want to avoid the change. To avoid the change, we procrastinate. Maknanya kita lambatkan so that I don't have to make the change. And that becomes a disadvantage to you. Yeah? And itu kadang-kadang is supported by this negative. Segala yang kita cakap tentang perubahannya, semuanya dilihat dari bentuk negatif. Kadang-kadang orang yang nak membuat perubahan pun dilihat sebagai orang negatif. Jadi perubahan tidak berlaku. And there are many others. Yeah? The overemphasize of the external. Penilaiannya semua penilaian luar. Penilaian diri tak ada langsung. Muhasabah tidak ada langsung. Muhasabah orang je. Dianya tidak pernah dimuhasabahkan. These are the issues bila kita cakap tentang the next generation of leadership. That we need to go into this and coming back to where leadership takes you in this particular context. Saya nak menggunakan satu contoh yang agak sering digunakan, perkataan modal insan. I don't know how many of you understand this word modal insan. Saya pernah dengar kita nak membangunkan modal insan yang terbaik, ya, dalam kadang-kadang sektor agama pun. Apakah kaitan modal insan dengan agama ini, sama ada ia secocok ataupun tidak? Ya? Syukran hantar saya satu artikel ditulis oleh one of the faculty tentang modal insan and syariah. And I begin to question whether it is compatible. Kerana compatible ataupun tidak. Kerana modal insan comes of a new liberal theory. It has nothing to do with Islam at all. Adakah new liberal theory ini dengan Islamic syariah boleh kita kawinkan? Dan boleh kita katakan dianya sama? Ini persoalan-persoalan yang timbul. Tapi dalam kerangka yang saya tahulah, bila kita lihat the human capital theory and education sebagai satu pendidikan, dia mengatakan begini saja. Dia kata education is an economic device. Bagi dia kesudahannya apa yang kita buat dalam pendidikan ini adalah untuk menjana ekonomi. That's all. Kalau kita boleh jana ekonomi, seperti yang dia katakan tadi, inovasi, kalau dia boleh buat ekonomi, dia akan okey. Kalau tidak, dia tidak okey. The economic factor becomes important. And dia kata, is it determinants for the economic performance, kesudahannya. Dalam konteks itu. Ya. Dan kalau kita nak ubah, the last statement dalam statement ini, dia kata, the modern human capital theory, all human behaviors is based on economic self-interest. Jadi saya diminta memberi ceramah hari ini, saya akan tanya kepada MSD, saya dapat apa hari ini bagi ceramah sampai pukul 1 ni? Nah, dia kata RM300 sejam, Tan Sri. Saya Profesor Emeritus, ada Tan Sri Rektor, takkan 300 juga. Kalau Hafiz bolehlah 300. Dia tak ada benda ni. Tentu tak payahlah. Hari ini saya sibuk. Minta je lah Hafiz bagi dia 300 tu. Because it's my self-economic interest. It's nothing to do with you. When I come and talk to you, it's about me. It's not about you. Whether you understand or you don't understand, I don't really care. My preparation is not about you, it's about me. Itu kita diajarkan. Sebab itu bila pelajar-pelajar kita disuruh buat ni, dia tanya ini berapa kredit. Satu kredit tak payahlah. Ini saya terpaksa bertungkus lumus ni, Tan Sri. Satu kredit je tak payahlah. We are taught to be that way. Yeah. So panggil pukul 2, Norke pukul 2 pagi tadi buat presentation. Kalau dia tak faham, dia kata, tak payahlah pukul 2 ni Tan Sri, tak pakai. Kita kerja sampai pukul 5 je. Arahan pukul 2 ni tak pakai. So it depends on how you look at things. And this human capital theory is not our theory. But yet we use this in the context that we see today. Yeah? And it becomes, banyak lagi yang boleh cerita, but I don't want to go into this. But kesudahannya, faktor kalbu itu tidak main peranan langsung. Jadi orang ni tidak berhati perut, ya, tidak pandai menjaga emosi orang, tidak tahu membezakan belas kasihan, benda-benda nilai yang kita katakan tadi tidak ada dalam konteks umpama ini. Right? So ini yang kita ataupun yang saya khawatirkan apabila kita bercakap tentang ini, sedangkan kita dibiasakan dengan hadis umpama ini, yeah? There's a piece of flesh in your body that if it's sound, the entire body is sound. And it is a heart. At what point, dalam 40 tahun kita di dalam universiti ini misalnya, we talk about the heart in a serious way. Dia menjadi penentu sama ada kita bergerak ke hadapan ataupun ke belakang, ataupun ke tepi ataupun ke tengah. It becomes a compass, that moral compass. At what point you talked about this? And if you do talk about it, how practical it is. how impactful this is. How much change does it bring in the context of the university. Yeah? Ada satu lagi yang saya ambil, ini sebagai, I hope this hadis also true. Dia kata vulgar talk result from the hardness of the heart. Kadang-kadang perkataan yang kita hamburkan keluar itu menggambarkan keadaan jiwa kita. Sebab tu bila kita baca social media ni, saya kadang-kadang heran, di mana datang perkataan-perkataan yang tak pernah dengar dulu. Yeah? Is it the hardness of the heart? Dan dia mengatakan the hardened heart is on fire. Ini soal-soal yang saya rasa amat penting bagi saya kalau saya nak hidup dalam kebahagiaan. My heart cannot be on fire. You know, that this whole question of what we see today in the context of a different language, and that language is now been translated into what we call the toxic culture. Yang kita katakan dalam jiwa kita itu dipersembahkan keluar sebagai satu budaya yang cukup meracunkan ataupun the toxic culture. And it is not new. Sebelum pandemik pun ada, tapi oleh kerana pandemik itu kesannya tidak seteruk pandemik, we don't talk about it. But what is a toxic culture? Does it exist in your midst? Does it exist in this university? Yeah. The first is the evidence of burnout. Burnout ni maknanya you are not already in control of yourself. Yeah. You balik kerja pun you are not already serving your family because you have finished in your workplace. You cannot work for the community anymore because you are already exhausted to the end. How many of us experience this? Right? And it is now illustrated in many ways. Salah satu daripadanya, suicide. Many people who are burnt out end up with suicide. Depression, anxiety, all this mental health issue that we talk about. Dulu tidak senyata, sekarang ini lebih nyata daripada dulu. And what this is all about? It's all about, bagi saya, go back to what your jiwa and your cult is all about. Yeah? Kalau tidak pun sekurang-kurangnya stres. Yeah? Dan stres itu dibukti dengan cara-cara kita bercakap. Seperti kita katakan tadi. Yeah? The kind of vulgar talk that comes out in writing, in speeches, in whatever it is, right? And sometimes it is upside down dalam konteks yang ada sekarang ni. Apa yang boleh kita percaya, apa yang kita tak boleh percaya? What is truth, what is half truth? What is fake news, what is real news? Yeah? Masuk pula chat GPT dengan AI ni semua ni, it confuses many things. Why? Because now the values and the ethical structures has all been contended for. Kita balik-balik kepada soal nilai. Ya? Dan nilai ini sekarang ini sudah tidak berlaku seperti mana yang pernah berlaku pada satu ketika. Satu ketika, at least my generation, kalau bapa saya lihat saya dengan satu cara yang lain, saya tahu something is wrong. Apa yang tak kena ni? Mengapa orang tua ni tengok aku macam ni? Kita pun tak senang duduk dia buatnya. Ya? Tapi sekarang ni bila saya buat ini kepada anak saya tanya, why are you looking at me? Ya? What's wrong with you? Kita pula salah. Ya? What's wrong with you? Why are you looking at me? We don't get that subtleness anymore. It is so blatant, it is so crude that we lose this connectivity between the two of us. Everything is upside down, and it goes back at the end of the day, the question of leadership, the question of management, the way I've tried to describe earlier when we talk about this transformational and so on and so forth. Yeah? So, you think this may not be right. The world technology sekarang ni, apa perlu benda ni semua, ya? We know that there is the brain is important, the goodness, maknanya the workings, the governance is all must be important, ya? But I want to surprise you by quoting this quote. Dia kata there are 4 ingredients in leadership, and that is the brain, we know that, but they also about soul and the heart. Yeah? Dalam banyak syarahan tentang leadership, the soul and the heart is not touched at all. It's always the brain, the brain, the brain, right? And who speaks about this? This person here, yang menganjurkan the fourth industrial revolution. Kita ingatkan imam daripada mana ke? No, this scientific technology person mengatakan at the end of the day, we have to contend with the soul and the heart, not just the brain and the governance. And this is where we use the word authentic. Yeah? I just want to clarify, authentic leadership and leadership the way I understand it are two different things. When I talk about authentic, it involves the heart and it also involves the soul. And this is where, just like when you use the word responsible research, the word responsible has a meaning for this. And where do I get this? Dalam saya cuba bercari di mana benda datang, saya terpaksa mau tidak mau balik kepada falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan. As an educator, di mana falsafah ni datangnya, saya balik kepada falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan. Apabila kita menggunakan istilah ni, kesejahteraan diri. Di mana dia punya pointer ni? Yeah. No. Di belakang. Sorry. No. How do I get back? Tu. Perkataan kesejahteraan diri, I think you know what I'm talking about. Ada. Yeah. The only document yang saya boleh dapat yang official bentuknya, bukan dokumen ekonomi, bukan dokumen sosial, bukan dokumen politik, yang ada perkataan sejahtera is the only dokumen inilah, pendidikan. Yeah. Apa maknanya bagi saya? Maknanya dia bercakap tentang apa yang kita perlu cakapkan, iaitu dia bercakap tentang keseimbangan insan yang seimbang dan harmonis. Ini penting. Adakah kita semua di sini seimbang dan harmonis, yang boleh keluar daripada toxic culture yang kita katakan tadi? Apa dia seimbang dan harmonis? Daripada segi intelek, rohani, emosi dan jasmani. 4 benda. Bukan saja ini, tetapi ini, emosi dan juga jasmani. Kita ada ini, kita ada jasmani. Emosi dengan rohaninya mana? Mungkin IIUM ada, universiti lain mungkin tidak ada. Ya? Dia bercakap mana datangnya keseimbangan ini, dia kata daripada kepercayaan dan kepatuhan kepada Tuhan. Balik kepada soal roh tadi. Ketuhanan. Dengan adanya ini baru kita boleh dapat kesejahteraan diri. Ini tidak akan berlaku kalau ini tidak ada. Jadi in trying to manage HR, and you just want to manage the intellect and the economic part without going into the deeper part of the human person, I think you are not going to arrive at it. Dan pentingnya bagi dia, kata kalau sejahteraan diri ini, orang yang sejahteraan diri ini baru dia boleh memberi sumbangan keharmonian keluarga, masyarakat dan negara. So orang bertanya mengapa banyak buli? Kerana diri ini tidak sejahtera. As simple as that. Ya. Perangainya lebih membuli dan itu yang dia tahu. Jadi salahkan dia kalau dia membuli kerana dia hanya tahu untuk membuli. Kita dah ajar dia macam mana cara membuli dengan tidak mengajar dia macam mana hidup seimbang dan sebagainya. And this I think comes from the workforce that you talked about. Is our workforce balanced? Is our workforce harmonious? Is our workforce God conscious? Is our workforce also, contributing at the same time? If that does not happen, then you can talk about anything in the world, it will not happen. And that I think is what the crux of this issue is all about. Yeah? Bukan modal insan, as I mentioned to you, because it's a very industrial concept. This concept is introduced in the 18-something, and it becomes a flourishing concept in the 1960s. We've mentioned about it, right? So very quickly, just my last slides, just to show you macam mana now we talk about this nurturing of HR, yang kita boleh masukkan konsep sejahtera, Yang penting bagi orang Melayu konsep budi dan juga konsep adab yang tidak banyak dibicarakan dalam kepemimpinan. Governance, yes. Governance yang berbudi, governance yang beradab is a different question altogether. Yeah? So I want to go back to this whole idea of falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan dan bercerita tentang jasmani, emosi, rohani dan juga intelek. 4 prinsip yang perlu ada kepada kita. Yeah? Dan istilah-istilah ini dia bukan istilah baru. Kita katakan jasmani. Tapi dalam istilah kita, orang Melayu, kita bercakap tentang rupa. Jasmani ni sounds very advanced lah. Tapi tanya makcik di kampung, jasmani apa makcik tak tahu dia. Tapi dia macam rupa, your outlook, yeah? Your physical and whatever it is. Alright? Rupa satu. Yang keduanya kita bercakap tentang emosi, pun tak faham apa benda emosi ni. Ya? Senangnya, rasa. Orang Melayu is all about rasa. Ya? Awak mengguris perasaan saya. Dah tak berkelahi. Dah tak bercakap. We are very sensitive in terms of rasa. Perasaan, mesti nak jaga perasaan ni. Kalau tak jaga perasaan ni boleh rak satu universiti. We are very, very sensitive on that rasa. Tapi pasal rasa. Yang ketiga, kita bercakap tentang intelek. Pun tak faham. Ini bukan istilah kita. Istilah kita adalah budi. Ya? Budi maknanya lebih daripada just intelek. I will explain later. Right? Dah ada 3 ini. Dah ada budi, ada rasa dan ada rupa. Kita dah boleh buat connectivity dah. Ada tangan, ada kepala dan ada kalbu. You can already make the connectivity. Tapi the connectivity seperti yang kata-kata dia is void of values. Kita seolah-olah macam haiwan. Haiwan pun ada connectivity-nya, tangan, kepala dan hatinya. Tapi dia tidak macam manusia. Dia tidak ada nilai. Dia tidak pandai memberi nilai macam mana yang kemudian kata give values to values. Dia tak tahu. Yeah? Until and unless, and therefore bila tidak ada nilai, kita dapatlah pemimpin, yes, tapi tidak ada roh, tidak ada adab. Pendidikan, yes, tapi tidak ada roh, tidak ada adab. Ya? Boleh juga cari makan, tapi cari makan ala kadar lah. Macam haiwan cari makan. Tak sudah-sudah dengan tamaknya, tak sudah-sudah dengan rasuahnya, tak sudah-sudah dengan apanya, kerana dia tidak ada benda-benda ni. Ya, dapat kerja bagus, tapi dia punya hidup tidak sempurna, tidak seimbang, tidak harmonis. Ini yang kita takutkan. Keluar daripada universiti yang tidak mempunyai adab dan juga roh. Ya, ini soal-soal yang mungkin tidak banyak orang peduli. Pasal orang sekarang cakap tentang benda je. Ada sudahlah. Lain pada itu tak penting. Perlu ada roh. Dan roh ini menceritakan tentang kerohanian tadi. So we have the 4 balik. The jari tadi. Ya. Dan roh ini mencerminkan kepada 3 benda. Pertamanya adalah niatnya. Niatnya balik kepada hati yang luhur, hati yang suci, hati yang murni. Kalau hatinya berkeladak, hatinya mati, niatnya tidak akan betul. Yeah. And this is I think the main pain point dalam konteks kita ni. Bila orang itu bercakap niatnya di mana? Apa niat dia? Kita dalam Islam kita mengatakan niat itu menentukan apa yang kita nak buat. Kalau niatnya tidak betul lah. Maknanya keputusan yang dia buat, apa yang berlaku dalam mindanya tidak juga akan betul. Kesudahannya tindakan yang dibuatnya juga tidak akan betul. Kerana apa? Permulaannya niatnya tidak betul. Kerana apa? Jiwanya tidak luhur, tidak suci, tidak bersih. Itu perlu dibersihkan dahulu. Ya? Tapi kalau itu sudah bersih, dan kita dapati there is this connection yang balik-balik kepada budi tadi. Then you can see your budi dalam konteks yang sepenuhnya. Ada rasa, ada rupa, dan ada juga roh yang kita lihat daripada konteks ini. So budi bahasanya bagus. Bila budi bahasanya bagus, budi pekertinya mesti bagus. Orang Melayu tidak akan lembut tapi budi pekertinya kasar. It doesn't work that way. Ya. Dan kalau budi pekertinya dan budi bahasanya baik, budi bicaranya pun juga baik. And that is what budi is all about. The conglomerate of these three things. Berapa banyak yang kita dapat lihat ni, kesudahannya kita baru dapat the connectivity yang bagus, dan connectivity itu akan menukar manusia itu kepada manusia yang berbudi dan pandai membawa kepada kesejahteraan. When all these things happen, dan kesejahteraan, keharmonian, keseimbangan itu akan berlaku dan akan lahirlah apa yang kita panggil sebagai budiman. Kerja kita adalah untuk memberi nafas kepada budiman ini, orang yang pandai mewujudkan keadaan kesejahteraan, berani dan bijaksana. Kadang-kadang dia berani tapi tidak bijaksana. Cakap something which is right, but the way it is presented, it is wrong, he gets into trouble. Sometimes dia bijaksana tapi tak berani. Macam-macamlah filosofi dia, tetapi duduk je macam ayam sakit. Budiman mesti ada kesemuanya. Ada keberanian, ada kebijaksanaan, dan ada juga kesejahteraan. And that's the kind of people that this workforce needs in moving forward today. And this, I hope, this university will try to do that. Yeah? And therefore we go into this whole idea of adab. Banyaklah adab, tapi saya just nak ringkaskan. Kita dah ada ni tadi ni, berani dan kebijaksanaan ini. Sorry, I will take that out. Yeah, and berani dan perkataan Melayu lamanya, I just take perkataan Melayu lama lah, menunjukkan sudah ada dalam peradaban kita begitu lama. Perkataannya Dakar. Perkataan Dakar orang tak dengar. Dakar sekarang ni is a state in Senegal kot. Ya? Tapi orang Melayu mengatakan orang dulu berani, dia panggil perkataan Dakar. Ya? Dan Bestari perkataan baru menggambarkan kebijaksanaan. Ini adalah sebahagian daripada adab kita. Ini kita ada, ini yang kita akan perolehi. Kalau kita ada keberanian, kebijaksanaan, kita akan amanah dan kita akan adil. That's the outcome. Kalau kita tambah ni, dia jadi adab. Tak payah ingat banyak-banyak lah, adab ni kadang-kadang very complicated. Yeah? Can you have this 4 dulu? As part of the workforce training. They are all courageous because we have got wisdom and we can deliver amanah and justice at the same time. Yeah? And that would be you as a budiman, and that would be you in the context of you bringing in whatever that needs to be brought. Yeah? In the context of behavior, akhlak, adab may vary from culture to culture, is understood. Yeah? No one culture is the same. But the common among this interpretation is regarded for the purpose, for the person standing codes of behavior that is proper discrimination in the correct balance. Ya, kesudahannya keseimbangan, keharmonian itu yang melahirkan bukan sahaja diri dia, tetapi keluarganya, masyarakatnya, negaranya, dan rahmatan lil alamin. Jadi itu yang dia, kesudahannya. It may be different, but the final outcome is the same as we talk about in this context of adab. So ini yang saya rasakan yang kita kurang dalam melihat change and leading to change, where the new form of leadership becomes important. So when we talk about this now, saya nak berbalik kepada satu istilah yang selalu digunakan. The heart, right, has its own rhythm. I think we know this. Yeah? Dan rhythm itu sebenarnya membayangkan a state of balance, a state of harmony. Ini istilah Melayunya adalah hati budi. Dan hati budi ini goes in convergent, perkataannya dalam bahasa Inggerisnya. Dia selari dengan the beating, may not be the beating, but the wave of the brain, the EEG. Ya. Ini orang Melayu panggil akal budi. Bukan akal budi yayasan tu ya. Akal budi betul-betul. So kita mesti pandai menjaga hati budi dan akal budi ini supaya ianya bergerak sama in the context of convergence. And this is the new science that we read now. Yeah, I'll explain this a little bit. Dan kalau ini berlaku, dan kita akan dalam keadaan kesejahteraan selama-lamanya. Because we know how to go into this balance. I come into a meeting and I know how to balance myself in that meeting. I go into a place which I'm not sure, I know how to stay in that balance. I can go anywhere and that balance will remain with me. I'm not a troublemaker. Yeah? And I'm not even, unfit in that environment. I can make that balance. And that is a balance I think that we want to talk about. Yeah? So I've mentioned this before, when kita nak mula, kita mula dengan hati kita. Kita mula dengan, we are a spiritual being, we are not a digital native. Kita bermula dengan roh kita yang ada emosi dan ada juga etikanya sendiri. Baru kita beralih kepada minda kita. Ataupun budi yang kita katakan tadi itu. Iaitu daripada culture-nya, daripada intellectual-nya, kognitifnya dan juga daripada psikologinya. Kedua-dua ini akan menjahirkan apa yang dipanggil sebagai this microcosm. Dunia di dalam diri kita sendiri yang perlu kita selenggarakan. If you cannot manage your internal world, you can forget about managing the outside world. If you cannot manage your own house, you can forget about managing the society outside. Balik-balik to this self. Yeah. How to manage yourself? That I think is a lesson that all of us must learn so that we can manage the world outside us, be it office or whatever it is. Yeah? Once you know how to manage yourself, it is about this balance that we talk about. Yeah? Boleh kita gambarkan macam gitar ni, right? Dan dia akan ada this balance di antara minda, budi dan juga kalbu tadi. How does it balance? And it is not fixed because the world is not fixed. And it goes into where the balance goes. Scientifically, I think there is what we call the micro-balance between the heart and the mind, or in the brain in this particular context. Right? Scientifically, we can show that. Bila ini berlaku, dan baru kita boleh katakan saya sekarang ini sudah bersedia untuk berkhidmat ataupun bekerja kepada dunia luar, the macrocosm yang besar. Yang dalam konteks sekarang ni kita bercakap tentang ekologinya, kita bercakap tentang ekonominya, kita bercakap tentang budayanya, kita bercakap tentang kemasyarakatannya. Empat dimensi ini. Macam mana kita nak menguruskannya? Tapi kita boleh menguruskannya kalau kita boleh menguruskan diri kita sendiri. And then we can create what we call the other balance, which is the environmental balance. So kita dengan environment kita dalam satu kedudukan yang seimbang. Dia tidak ada soal-soal yang kita cakap sekarang ini, this unsustainable, the biodegradation, semua ini tak ada kerana ia sudah boleh keseimbangkan. And the micro balance and the macro balance becomes one. I think this is what we are trying to arrive at the moment in time, so that at the end of the day, this balance becomes the way of life of a good Muslim. Yeah? We can adapt, we can be profitable, we can be useful wherever we go because we know how to strike the balance. Right? And dalam Melayunya kita panggil ini satu keadaan the sejahtera principle. Right? Yang masuk dalam ini soal budi dan soal adab. All these are now integrated in one. To live as a human person that begins to understand what the environment, what the workplace is all about, and in fact what the world is all about in this particular context. Yeah? Saya gunakan perkataan spices ini, dia menggambarkan hanya 10 elemen tadi itu. Ya? The spiritual, the psychological, the intellectual, the cultural, the cognitive, the ecological, the spiritual, and finally the societal. Seolah saya gunakan spices ni pasal dia spices ni rempah ratus. Saya boleh katakan ini rempah ratus hidup. Kalau nak makan nasi kandar yang bagus, rempah ratusnya mesti baik. Kalau rempah ratusnya kelang kabut, nasi kandar itu akan juga tak bagus. Begitu juga your life. If you want to spice your life up, your spices must be well balanced. It cannot be off balance. So kalau kita lihatlah daripada falsafah pendidikan kebahagiaan ini, soal ekstremisme takkan boleh hidup. We don't need to have an institute wasatiyah. Pasal pendidikan kita sendiri sudah seimbang. Kita tidak perlu institut integriti. Pasal hidup kita sendiri sudah seimbang melalui falsafah pendidikan kebangsaan. Yang mendidik kita sebagai manusia yang berfitrah dan pandai juga mengimbangi dengan dunia luarnya. Ini soal yang saya rasakan penting dalam moving that change tadi. Yeah. So just to share with the last 20 years, yang dulu kita katakan bahawa hati ini mendapat instruction from the mind. Ya, sebab tu kita nak didik kepala ni betul-betul supaya dia boleh menjaga hati ni, mengata-kata hati kita what to do. Emotionally you can control yourself. But now the theory is relevant. It is very different. Ya. Dia mengatakan there is now the brain-heart relationship. Alright? And dia kata apa? The heart has its own complex nervous system and it is called the heart brain. Maknanya hati itu sendiri boleh hidup tanpa minda memberi arahan kepadanya. Of course that also happens, but dalam konteks ini it can make its own decision. Alright? And it also mentioned here the heart sends far more information to the brain than the brain sends to the heart. Dulu we thought it's the other way around. And I think the last statement I read, the heart sends 6 times more information to the brain as compared to the brain to the heart. Maknanya the communication daripada sini ke situ lebih penting daripada sini ke sini. Tapi kalau ini tidak dididik, apa mesej yang dihantar kemari? Yeah? That I think is now the question that we want to talk about. Yeah? The heart signals especially affect the brain centers involved in strategic thinking, reaction time, and self-regulation. And therefore, there's no question of this existing alone, but it has to exist in these 2 dimensions. Right? Between the heart and the brain, there is this connection, whether we like it or not. How to make this connection work and how to maintain it, I think is a question that all of us are now trying to understand. Okay? So let me conclude. Kita bermula dengan human resource, inilah ceritanya. Modal insan. Yeah? Modal insan itu, as I've mentioned to you, is all about economics. You make good money, you're okay, man. It doesn't matter whether your life is ethical ataupun tidak. That's not a question. Tokar besar, rumah besar, isteri besar, suami besar. That's all that we need. All right? Now, we begin to say that this is no longer adequate. Yeah? We want to move into a different by bringing in the heart. Sebagai salah satu faktor untuk regulate the human capital. Saya bukan kata juga human capital tak penting, tapi perlu dikawal, perlu dipantau, perlu dijaga supaya dia tidak berlebihan, tidak masuk kepada apa yang kita sekarang ni sedang menghadapi, rasuahnya dan sebagainya. Yeah? Dan you need to bring in the heart. Bila kita bring in the heart, then we begin to see the spiritual being, the human person that we talked about. Yeah? And as we enlighten the heart, dengan akal dan budinya, we begin to create another world which has a different sort of definition. Harta penting tapi tak sepenting mana yang kita agakkan dulu. Kereta buruk tapi hati seronok. Pada kereta cantik hati tak seronok. Gaji banyak tapi mental health. Elok gaji sikit asalkan mental health okey. Ini pertimbangan yang perlu kita fikirkan sekarang ini. Anak-anak kita yang paling penting sekarang ni. All anak-anak kita memikirkan cara lain, pakai mereka dididik cara lain sekarang ni. Ada handphone, dia ada okey. Tak ada handphone, macam dunia dia dah runtuh besok. Handphone hilang. You know? This is the world that we are facing now, and this is the world that we are trying to change now. Dalam konteks apa yang kita cuba buat dalam universiti ini. Kesudahannya, kalau kita dapat balik ke akal budi dan hati budi itu, dalam satu kefahaman yang saya katakan tadi, dan kita boleh mewujudkan apa yang kita dalam saf kita kata insan sejahtera. Yeah. This is the kind of change that I think we need to talk about now. We have gone to the change that Aminah has talked about, Kamaruddin has talked about, Zuraida has talked about, the external change. It works. Yeah. But now it's time to talk about the internal change. Macam mana kita boleh merawat diri kita sendiri supaya the external change becomes more meaningful and more sustainable and more profitable for everybody, not just for you, right? So I think I will stop there, although there are a few more slides. Ni apa pula ni? Okay, so another conclusion. Human capital ni yang besarnya di sini je. Kadang-kadang besar kepala, hatinya kecil. Right? And how do you change this? We say now let's besarkan hati ini. Give it more role, give it more meaning, give it more functions. You know, how do you develop this? And we have got a module for this, insyaAllah. Right? And now how do you connect this? Kedua-dua ini dia tidak berasingan, tapi kita boleh connectkan. You can put in, you can plug in the way you want it, but the plugging in must be in a state of a balance. Not one dominating the other. How do you balance it in that particular sense? Yeah? Dari segi akhlaknya, dari segi budinya, dari segi adabnya, dari segi kepribadiannya, macam mana kita boleh mendapat that balance so that we will then eventually go into this heart-brain punya relationship as we talk about, and then come into this concept of human being, yang kita bawa balik bila dalam manusia tu, the budi yang kita katakan tadi itu, budi bahasa, budi pekerti dan budi bicara, dan kesudahannya insyaAllah kita akan mewujudkan insan sejahtera, mungkin insanul kamil, a bigger word. Insan sejahtera dah dulu, yang lain tu mungkin besar sangat. Whether you can hidup dalam kesejahteraan di antara kita dan diri kita dan keluarga kita, dan itu sudah menjadi satu mungkin penambahan kepada hidup kita yang lebih bermakna insyaAllah. Yeah. So I will stop there. Because if I go on, I think I will not stop. And kalau ada apa-apa soalan, mungkin kita boleh bertanya. Ini semua saya punya pengalaman. Ya. Kalau tanya buku mana baca Tan Sri, hadis mana Tan Sri, ini I will not be able to answer it. It's my own experience, and I trying to understand this. Where do you put all this into one picture? And this is what I come out with. You can contest it. You may say this is not right. This is not true. I accept it. But let's try and improve it as we go along. Yeah. So terima kasih. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. Okay.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you very much, Tan Sri and all speakers just now for the inspiring insights. Right, once again, give a round of applause to Tan Sri and all the speakers for today. Seperti guests, ladies and gentlemen, we will now proceed with the question and answer session. So if you have any questions to be asked to our speakers for today, especially for Tan Sri, you can proceed to the nearest microphone and ask your questions. Is there any questions? Sila, Prof.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Just a matter of like maybe a comment to discuss. Listening to the talk, to me maybe been listening for the past many times, many years. But what I would like to put it together here is that change would not happen if words and framework and branding alone being advocated. And for the past 5 years, we've been listening to this. Yeah? Just to be honest, while on our side, maybe the office, just to give a real experience, the kind of constraint and pressure that is there for us to do the change. Yeah? And at the moment, if I can relate, Prof. Hafiz, we're doing the Unicore change. And the thing that we're doing, it's not an easy thing. So luckily, we've got someone who's just really willing to bulldoze. But what I would like to highlight here is that from the gap between the concepts and what is there, getting faster, but the realities on the ground is not responsive to the demand of the concept and framework as much as it's happening. All right? One simple example is that if you're championing, for example, a UNESCO chair, yeah, for us to get a staff is really requiring a lot of demand and requests and network just to get a staff on something that really sells us at the world level. So this is something that I highlight because Madam Zhu, let's just be critical on this. And I guess a spade has to be called a spade unless we're not going to change, right? So I'm sure there are perspectives saying that this is what we've been talking about for the past many years of Islamizations. What is missing then? Actions or what? So I think this is the thing that we've got to put it together and let's address this together as to how, if I can recall, I mentioned this in a finance meeting in Malacca as well, that while there's a grandiose planning of finance, but still on the ground we're asking for receipt to be printed and we're talking about paperless. So these are the actual gap that I don't want to make a trivial thing that maybe people say is implementation thing, but this is what we happen, or that's what we see on the ground. So in short, Chair and those who share their experience, my highlight is that as much as we are so passionate about the change, but I guess there are actual operational matters that stops us from flying higher. So we hope we can address that, inshallah. Assalamu alaikum.
Salam, thank you, Prof. Zainal. Maybe any response from Tan Sri or Madam Zaida on that?
I mean, with due respect, I've been here for 5 years. I think at the end of the 5 years, I think there are some changes. Mungkin it is not even, mungkin it is not as fast, but there are changes happening. And that's why I think my talk today was basically try to pin down who should start it. Ada orang mengatakan, oh, let's wait for head of department to start it. Let's wait for the board of governance to start it. Let's wait for the minister to start it. Let's wait for everybody else lah. But my question is, let me start it. I want to start a change, I start a change. I don't have to have any permission from anybody, as long as it's within the, the ambit of the university, understanding what the university is all about. If 10 people started, we have 10 changes already. And kini kita nampak dalam kita punya usaha in action, bila 3,000 pelajar kita bagi dia opportunity to make change, and they present 250 possible changes that they do. Which is not easy. Orang Jepun pun terkejut. Dia kata, I can only deal with 3 people. How do you deal with 3,000 people? And that's because I think we have empowered them to make the change, and we allow the change to happen. Of course, we will monitor those changes. So the question that I think to me is whether you want to, that's why I put this article as I baca tu. Yeah? You're not comfortable with your environment, but you don't want to make the change. Why? Because I fear change. And therefore I procrastinate. Therefore I give all the bad labelings to it lah. Kalau buat ini tak kena, sebenarnya dia tak mau tukar. So let's start with yourself. And if you yourself thinks you want to do the change, maybe you want to talk about it, and let's talk about it, and we will celebrate this change. Yeah, I think coming from USM, I think Hafiz also from USM. I think in USM, because USM moves because the change is already there. Yeah, and that's why Kuantan moves very fast. I think half of it is because of Hafiz. Yeah, baru ni what is on the apa tu, on the what do you call the sejahtera thing. Kuantan dah kata the whole kuliah works together, isn't it? Gombak masih berfikir-fikirlah ini. So I think people who move fast will go. And my worry is, benda-benda yang kita buat ni, kalau orang Jepun dapat, kita akan tertinggal. Ya, kita dah nampak pun macam halal ni. Dekat Jepun sekarang ni ada restoran halal 100%. Ya, dia punya pinggan mangkuk semua tu halal. Kalau ada bir je dibuang itu tak halal lah. Cawan tu dah tak halal lah. Kita masih boleh berkongsi, bukan salah. Tapi you can see other people move faster than we are on our own ideas. They borrow these ideas and then they move faster. And that's where I think the change needs to be thought of. And that's why I quite like Puan Zuraida kata speed and attention to details. To move fast, you must know what the details are. You cannot move fast without knowing the details are. Yes? So that you know actually where to guide the speed, because you know where you are heading at the end of the day. So benda ni semua all integrated. It's something that we may want to learn anew, but I appreciate what Zainal is saying, but I'm not that pessimistic. I think as we move, lagi banyak orang nampak, lagi banyak orang akan insyaAllah come to your side of the thing. And I'm quite positive, insyaAllah, in this particular aspect. Yeah.
Thank you, Tan Sri, and then thank you for the suggestion or the comment from Prof. Zainal. Okay, thank you for the comment, Prof. Zainal. Actually, I just want to add a little bit from what Tan Sri has mentioned. When we talk about change, and we want to see the changes happening, in terms of, that's why it was, I think, in the previous talk, I emphasized on the staff must have the passion to come to work and do the things to the quality, the standard that we expect. Because some of the staff, banyak bukan not only in Gombak, I've been in Kuantan and East-Tech. So sometimes orang tanya, how to get even the mood to come to work. So macam nak cakap about change, or I mean, further than change, I mean, kata nak datang kerja pun kadang tak ada mood. The mood is not there. Mungkin tak ada apa yang menggembirakan. So nak support the university punya event ke, all the things that the good things university done tu, kita kena ada orang yang passionate to come to work and dissatisfied in what they are doing. Ada setengah tu dia buat kerja pun dia tak ada satisfaction on apa yang dia buat. Dia masih buat dan buat. Dia cakap dengan kita, buat je lah, tapi tak ada satisfaction. But in our work actually, if we want to really nampak changes ni, the staff must have the passion dalam work dia. Dia must satisfied dia punya work. Dia kena rasa, kalau orang kata dalam agama manis ni iman, manis ni kerja tu pun kena rasa. Baru you ada semangat nak datang kerja. So then we can see some changes so that they can support the university in terms of whatever lah. I understand, for example, kita cakap facts Prof. Zainal kan, macam istidamah umpamanya kan, you expect many people to turn up and participate kan untuk with all the global work about what we're discussing in the istidamah. True. Kalau tak ada kalau population kita berapa, katalah 4,000 ke berapa, suppose we have half ke, kita tak dapat half, maybe kita dapat 100 saja. Nampak low lah the number kan, to support the istidamah, for example. So kenapa? Why are some people tak nak listen to all this thing? Because it is a good thing. Itulah, their passion to listen to ada tak? Coming to listen to that kan, contoh itu istidamah lah, but we can give other examples too, how to attract them to become part of us yang memang nak pergi ke depan. So these are the things that I think memang we have to give them the understanding. They must see their core values in the university. Dia nampak the vision, tapi dia di mana? Sebab tu kita nak bagi tahu kat staff, you must see yourself in the organisation. You must be part of kalau cruise tu, you adalah orang yang tolong captain tu sekali. Bukan you arah lain, kalau dayung pun you corner ke belakang, yang lain ke depan, memang tak pergilah. So these are the things that the staff must understand. I think Tan Sri, they must know all these things. Thank you very much. Yeah.
How to make this change.
Change. We are Commonwealth country, English trained, British trained, and Zainal was in UK. He knows that changes in conventional tradition is very difficult. changes, you say changes, people say rejection first. This is considered for conventions punya study. But if they say you go to German, you go to Japan, they will accept changes totally different. That's why Japan, after Hiroshima and Nagasaki, they swell. They become a rich country. We are different. So perceptions are different. So my first speech as a campus director, I told the staff, first changes going to be lean management. So we settled all the, we didn't continue the people who are supposed to be part-time and also the contract staff. So we saved about $250,000, 250,000 for this year. Okay? Then I told them the next is the Unicor. We want to change the Unicor, even the topics. But then Ahmad says, if let's say you change, you got to go to a lot of things. So we told them we still want to do the pilot by March. So the first thing is that the UNJS will say our lectures were 3 hours. Salpet say we have 3 credit hours. We have class all over. So we need to convince them for 3 meetings. 3 meetings. It's not easy. And we also have discussed with people from KL. I was lucky, masa tu Prof. Faris was in KL, I was in Kuantan. So Prof. Faris asked each one of them, do you have any complaints? Kuantan wants to start this. The lucky one because UNJ said we will follow. Settle satu. But the most difficult thing is the 3 credit hours, self-pay. English said our teaching to the science different, allied is different, medicine is different, nursing is different. So English is very different. So very difficult. But we be able to convince them when they come to Kuantan, sit down with us. First of all, we have 4 models, Plan A, Plan B, Plan C, Plan D. Plan A is that we want to change. Means that we're going to mix everything up, then just by Unicor 1, Unicor 2, Unicor 3. That's going to be the, Ami was there, and you were there. Then we have, the suggested by the KCA was, you just mix. That's why we have the 4 different mixture of Unicor. But that, we promised them, by June, we're going to review back. We're supposed to be, we can mix all the Unicor by have Unicor 1, Unicor 2, Unicor 3, Unicor 4. Then we finish. Yani going to be a challenge for us. We need to convince the KCA, we're going to convince the Ahmad. And we need to convince UNJS, and we need to convince SAPAC. So Zana, you was not there. That's why I worried. If let's say you're going to have that, you must be there and sit down with us and tell this is what we want. Because if let's say you're going to do the change, the people who are going to make the change is going to be the one who are going to support the changes. You must get their votes. You must get their confidence. If you get them, I think it's okay. Okay, I think I learned a lot from Tan Sri for the past 5 years. I was his deputy. The first chapter was very difficult. This is something new. The SDG was new and everything got new. So there's a lot of things to do in Kuantan. We hope we already have planned for this year. This year is going to be what we call it beautifications of Kuantan and menghidupkan Kuantan. So that is our aim this year. We may bring some to the UMC once we are ready. we want to make it Kuantan open, not Kuantan open day, Kuantan open. Means that we're going to make it very open in Kuantan. Okay, and it's a lot of challenge. We hope Zana will support us. We need your ideas, Zana. And we hope the Unicore is going to be part of the syllabus in Kuantan. Now they have 4 kuliah who have adopt the syllabus in the curriculum. So the only one who did not have is kuliah of science and kuliah of pharmacy. Yeah, pharmacy already have half of it. They may need to relook at their curriculum to add in more so that they can have that. So I think it's a challenge, berpeluh juga. So after the first and the actions taken, you need to prepare the minds of the people, minds of the staff. Thank you.
Thank you all guests and Prof. Zainal. Yeah, another response?
Is it can, because I thought that the intention is just to get it, be a better dialogue.
Sure, sure.
I tease Prof. Hafiz because I know we can fight at 10 o'clock and then 11 we talk back again better. Prof, yes, we had a very heated discussion yesterday. We had a meeting yesterday, we recorded the meeting, but what's fun and what's interesting, what's amazing is that after I had fight with Prof. Samsul over things that we don't agree, and then we had discussions with Kabuye and all the groups, but we come to an amazing solution. And why does it happen? Because we're willing to open up. And yesterday, I think if others listened, I think it was really fight between me and Prof. Samsul. But after that, the result is good, meaning that now we are following what has been agreed upon. And the point that I want to highlight is that are we willing to change the culture of spade is a spade. And then jangan cakap, just be open. If Prof. Hafin were open, fine. And that's what the spirit that I admire. Walaupun dia marah-marah, tak apalah. Fine. But that's what we want. And I think that's what is missing. If we can do that, because Unicore change is a big change. And Kabuye is here, and then he can testify what happened yesterday. And it was a very good spirit that kita faraidkan hours. And this is the kind of thing that if you talk about change, Prof. Hafiz, allow us to undergo this kind of fight. Because the fight that will reveal the bond later. So in short, what I'm trying to highlight is that this is an ongoing process, and let's adopt this, let's embrace it, as long as what Tan Sri has been talking about is the heart. If the heart is ikhlas, yeah, but inshallah, but allow us to somehow bring up implementation issues, but with the guidance of the heart. Inshallah. Assalamu
alaikum. Thank you so much for Zainal on that. Right. So we have a few questions from the viewers online. So for your information, we have almost 1,000 viewers actually in this session for today. Alhamdulillah. Right. Okay. So maybe for the first question, just now, Tan Sri, you mentioned about human capital, heartless human capital and so on. So the question is, how can we effectively address and cope with the mistreatment from a heartless leader in the office without compromising their professionalism or mental well-being?
My answer is simple. A heartless leader should not be a leader. Dia tak masuk kriteria tu. You know? And this is where it is wrong. I mean, basically, a person who is heartless, he's not a leader. He doesn't qualify in my idea of what a leader is all about. But if you can't keep on, you know, electing these people as a leader, then you are just making the wrong decision, bagi saya. Yeah? So I don't know how to answer that question. All leaders should be humane enough. Sebab itu kita katakan memanusiakan pendidikan. So we go beyond that. So, for example, I bukan ni, when I read newspaper mengatakan pada budak-budak tak dapat scholarship, I quickly write to Ahmad and say, can you bring these people in? You know? And I think Alhamdulillah, CFS, I think hantar van bawa, I remember the last, bawa budak masuk ke. I mean, this is what we need to do. There's nothing magical about this university. If we become a human being, I think this university will glorify in its own presence. Ya, bahawa kita memanusiakan pendidikan dan kita memberi maruah kepada manusia yang tidak ada maruah. Anda tidak dimaruahkan kerana mereka tidak ada peluang. I mean, we see this double standard all the time, and I think as a Muslim we cannot live with this double standard. We must say it must stop. And how to make it stop is to give the abundance to the person who deserves it. And that needs work. Because we need to find out. I give you my example, misalnya bila saya di Al-Bukhari University. Dia punya kriteria is kita hanya boleh mengambil orang yang below the poverty line. And I was asked to recruit 80% daripada pelajar-pelajar ini mesti datang daripada peringkat antarabangsa, bukan Malaysia. You know? So we need to go to places like Comoros. Saya tanya orang British Council, have you heard of Comoros before? Dia kata, which organisation is that? No, it's not an organisation, it's a country in Africa. We've got application from them. So we need to go to these places yang tidak popular lah. Tapi masalah kita sekarang ni kita nak popular. Orang Harvard, semua nak pergi ke Harvard. But you look at Harvard now. It's an ugly place. With all sorts of politics coming in. I don't like to be with Harvard anymore. The name is Veritas, truthfulness, but they are not truthful. So we need to define ourselves and make ourselves the quote-unquote place where people want to be. And I think we have all the reasons to be what we are. And one of it is, for me, no room for heartless leaders. Or heartless person, for that matter.
Exactly.
Yeah? InsyaAllah.
All right. Okay, Tassim. We proceed with next question. Yeah, another two questions. We can just a simple one. Just now we talking about also the balance between adat and budi and so on. And how do you suggest we as a leader to balance the emotions and rationality when making decisions to ensure that we consider both logical and also emotional aspects when making decisions, especially big decisions?
I think there is a science for it. Do we have time?
Yes, ada.
Kalau I just show you one, this is already a scientific thing. I don't want to bother you with, mungkin. But there is also a science now. Macam mana kita boleh membuat exercise that balance the heart and the mind. To me, that is, mungkin orang tak setuju dengan saya, itulah dia khusyuk. Yeah? When you can balance your mind and the heart and it speaks the same language. Bila kita semayang, we find that we are really in that khusyuk state. Bukan hati kita cakap lain, kita dah sampai ke Dubai dah ni. Yeah? Rakaat yang ketiga baru nak balik. Bila plane land, kita Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, plane kita pun land. Tapi kita dah merantau. How do you balance that state of mind is where the science is coming from. I want to talk to maybe the science people first, but since you asked this question, let me show you the slides that I've got. Tak tahu sama ada boleh main tak main, but I've got the slides here. Ada sound. Okay, let me give you. This is done in Stanford. It is called the Heart Maths Institute. Okay. Orang ini nanti, forget about the theory of it. Orang ini is the scientist. Ini dia the volunteer. Dia panggil anybody from the crowd macam you, yeah. And dia akan letakkan dia punya gadget tu di telinganya yang boleh mengukur dia punya heart rhythm, alright. Dan dia akan bagi this lady masalah, misalnya multiply so many thousand by so many thousands.
Okay, have a seat.
And then dia akan measure dia punya apa tu the heart rate.
You happy?
Dah start dulu. So I'm giving you the because maybe you may not be able to listen. And you can see how the heart punya erratic movement, right? Lepas tu dia akan tukar. Dia kata, can you just now concentrate on your heart and think about positive thing. One of the positive thing, fikirkan tentang kesyukuran. Things of gratitude. Tak payah cakap banyak-banyak. And you can see how the heartbeat changes. Maknanya kalau kita dalam keadaan yang hanya bersyukur selalu, you already can maintain. Sebab tu kita disuruh bersyukur. Bukan kerana apa? Kerana kebaikan kita juga. And this is explained by this particular experiment. Okay, let's see. You can start it and see. Boleh ada volume sekali.
Very simply, I'm going to connect this sensor, which is plugged into the USB port on the computer, to Fiorella's ear, right here. There you go, dear. Now I'm going to start this program and explain to you what's happening. And Fiorella, while we're doing this, in the beginning, all I want you to do is just kind of hang out like you were hanging out, going to catch a plane or something. You're not really doing any techniques or anything. You're just sort of chilling, right? Across the bottom, we're seeing her pulse, and that's going to go away in a few minutes. That's just there to let us know that the sensor's connecting properly. Now we're seeing Fiorella's heart rate variability patterns, her heart rhythm patterns, in real time on the screen. The technology has a patented algorithm that scores it for coherence, and you'll see these bars change. This is percentages. So right now it's saying 50% of the time she's been in medium coherence, 50% she's been in high, not in low yet. Low coherence is our normal state. It's not bad, nothing's wrong with us when we're in low coherence. Medium means it's improving. High coherence is that high performance state that I talked about earlier. Heart, brain, body systems are all synced up. Everything's really working well. Healthy, high performance state, that's coherence. And that's what we train ourselves to do with the technology. So, Fiorella, think about something right now that makes you unhappy. What's going on? You don't have to say anything, just think about it. Feel it. Feel something in your life that just doesn't feel right. The times in your life when you feel unhappy. Okay? And I'll make that a little more challenging for you. While you're doing that, I'd like you to start with the number 187 and count backwards in increments of 13. 187 minus 13 is? I only have 20 minutes for this thing. We need to get these answers now. You know? Does this sound like your work day? Everything happening so fast, being asked to do things that are a bit uncomfortable. And look what's happening to her heart rhythm patterns. Instantaneously, that happens, right? Now, I'm going to share a very simple technique that Fiorella is going to practice. And while she's doing it, I want us all to do it together. And while we do it, I want us to radiate our feelings of care and compassion to Fiorella. Let's use the energetic field environment to assist her. Would you like to do that? Okay. So Fiorella, I want you to focus your attention now in the area in the center of your chest, the area of your heart. You can just feel your attention go right straight to that part of your body. And you can put your hand there if you want. You can close your eyes now if you'd like. Now, what I'd like you to do is something called heart-focused breathing. I want you to breathe naturally and normally, but a little deeper than you normally would. And as you breathe, and all of us do this together, feel as if the breath is coming in and out right through the area of the heart. Keep doing your heart-focused breathing. And now what I'd like all of us to do is to activate a heart-related regenerative emotion. I'm going to suggest one now, and that's appreciation. Heart-focused breathing, continue with that, and now feel as best you can the feeling of appreciation. Maybe it's just appreciation for the good things in your life. Maybe it's appreciation for this day we all have to be here together, right now. Whatever comes to you, just gently feel a feeling of appreciation as you breathe in and out through the area of the heart. And now, what I'd like you to do is I want you to radiate that feeling to Fiorella. Send appreciation to her for coming here and volunteering to be on stage in front of all of you. Send that appreciation out to her. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to stop the program. And before we go any further, round of applause for Fiorella, please. Amazing. Okay, you guys remember the frustration and appreciation graph a few minutes ago? Let's see what happened in real time. This is where she started on the far left. Right in here is where I started asking her to think about something that makes her unhappy, right? And then I asked her to do a little math for me. And that's where this happened. This is where she started into the technique. It's a heart math technique called the quick coherence technique. It gets us into that coherent state quickly. We're not that creative with names. But quick coherence technique. And so you see what happens, right? You see the shift? Now this is incoherent, this is coherent. This is unhealthy, this is healthy. This is not happy, this is happy. That's how fast it happens inside your body. And that's what all of us can do. That's what you have the ability to do. I'm going to do one thing really quickly, and then we're going to move on.
Ini dia buat sendiri, dia dah biasa.
See that? So I'm in the middle of a performance. I'm not off somewhere in the woods meditating. I'm here with all of you right now, and I'm in the middle of giving a talk. And so making that shift from whatever's going on into that high coherent state on demand, I think is a valuable skill in these times. Would you not agree? So I do that for two reasons. First of all, I want to show you what's possible for each and every one of you, that we all can do exactly that, and that you have that capacity within you. And that's the first reason I show that to you. The second reason is sometimes I kind of like to show off. So I'm getting this thing that says my time is up. I can't believe that, but let me go to some closure for you.
Okay, so jawapannya there is a technique. Whether you believe in this ataupun tidak, but there is already a technique that is used by people who wants to create that balance in you. Maknanya kita boleh kawal diri kita sendiri, hanya kita tidak diajar. Yeah? And it's time for us to learn some of these techniques if you think this, and this is already scientifically proven. There are many papers on this that we've been following through. And this is the paper that says at the end of the day, the heart can think on in itself. Dia tak payah the mind at all. So if you want to go into this kind of a thinking, then I think we need to also develop some training and practice and things like that along this nature. Then I think we can go. It's just not just talk about it, you know. Kita cakap tentang khusyuk ni, macam mana nak dapat khusyuk ni? I think we can read so many thousands of books, but if you don't have the practice, you will not get it. Of course, there are many others. Dari segi zikir dan sebagainya, tapi ini menunjukkan kita boleh go into this world. Yeah? Thanks.
Thank you so much, Tan Sri, for your answers and also for your insights with the question and answer session. So we now close the question and answer session. Distinguished guests, brothers and sisters, now we will have a quick photography session with all the attendees in the hall. So please gather at the center of the hall, and we have the photography session. Boleh ke tengah Dewan, boleh duduk rapatkan sikit.